It's a little cold and wet at virtual Road America for the ChampCar iRacing series, but the sun is just around the corner and we've seen so much great racing so far from the ChampCar iRacing series team endurance races over the last couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago at VIR, 2 weeks before that at Daytona. We're here at Road America with Sebring still to come. Some great iRacing from our ChampCar Endurance Series teams and some aspiring teams and drivers as well, and some great prizes available as we go racing with 3 hours ahead of us here at Road America. It's cold, it's a little bit windy, the sun's just beginning to peek out through the clouds as we wrap up qualifying and head towards 3-hour race. We're bringing you live coverage here on HJBC and ChampCar Live, us being HJBC, David Haynes with Devin Peters and Michael Derby. This is an epic racetrack. You look at that, over 4 miles, steeped in history, and even a corner named after your compatriots, Devin.
Yeah, we're well represented here out at the track, and maybe a little bit in the teams. We'll see today. Certainly, the Canadian weather is in full effect, and if there could be snow, there would be snow, but with this being a winter series and all, but we've just got a little bit of rain on the racetrack, David Haynes, and a little bit of rain that's catching the young guns out. So we see Keegan Allen swerving into the grass there.
Yes, underneath the Sargento Cheese Bridge, and then a massively long braking zone down towards Turn 5. They're currently on top in qualifying, 0.3 of a second from Backflip Boys, and chasing the Delta Academy. I expect that almost everyone's really only had 1 or 2 laps count so far in this qualifying. It's a massive lap, taking them a long time to get around in these weather conditions, and of course it is the bend layout as well here, so it's even longer and slower with this edition.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea when it's spitting down like this, but David Haynes, I can see sun.
Yes, what do they call that in Alabama?
I have no idea.
Before I open my big mouth and then put my foot into it, I think I should Google that I haven't just made this up. But yeah, bit of a change up the top then. So one of the Ford Mustangs from Drivetrainer Motorsports, Kyle Robertson, is going to put the number 23 Carbon Mustang into second place. Their other teammates out there in the BMW. 3 cars were available to our teams to select from. The Porsche Cayman, the BMW M4, and the big Ford Mustang. This is where the BMW sits at the moment in 7th. And Hugh Jasser got their Mustang in 10th. It looks like Ron Wolf is doing the qualifying at the moment. He's come in to replace Alex Harrison, but they are still sharing with Giovanni Romano, so he's the constant in the blue and yellow Stang. In search of all the traction you can possibly get out of the final corner onto one of the key features of this racetrack, the 3 really, really long straights. The front straight down towards Turn 5, and then from the bend to Canada Corner.
Yeah, we're seeing the timing screen start to light up. We're getting lots of green sectors, lots of purple sectors out there as I think people get a little bit more confident in the sprinkle of rain that we're seeing right now. The Mustangs were good in the wet, but the Porsches were strong too. We got chasing the Delta Academy, Sargento BMW Motorsport taking the top step right now in qualifying.
Yeah, Aaron Myers has gone up top, and in Young Guns they're actually making a swap there. So Cash Savage is going to come out on the track once they've got the new set of tyres on their car. Everyone has a lap time except Andrew Kosick of Slowered Expectations. There goes Savage. Things have gotten just a little closer up top with some of those times that have come in from Drivetrainer, from Backflip Boys, from chasing the Delta, Sargento BMW Motorsport Porsche.
There are no points on offer for having the longest team name, but you'd think there were.
I don't know if there's quite a limit at the end of it. Surely there's only so many characters that you can put into a team name, but I have seen some really long ones. And so actually in our points graphic, when we get to it later on, their team name is slightly truncated to fit the graphic.
And this lap won't count for them, I have to think. But I do think the backflip boys are on a bit of a quick one just behind them. Coming up the hill in that Hot Wheels car. And sure enough, they've jumped from 7th up to 4th place with that effort by Alex Cofford. And he is the backflipper, right? We've confirmed that.
Yep. Every member of Backflip Boys can do a backflip except for the one that can't. And so one of them can.
And we've got the Drive Trailer Carbon Boys out there on a bit of a lap right now too. Making a big move on Ryan Puckdell. And manhandling that Mustang around the Parabolica, the Carousel, the big round corner. You know his?
Oh yeah, I know my way around a state fair. I know what a carousel looks like.
Does look like it's handling pretty well.
Even know what a turkey lake looks like. That was a bit slidey out of some of the lesser used part of the racetrack there at the bend.
I was going to say, it is worth saying that the Enduro series, unlike the ChampCar Sprint series that we run most of the year, is an open setup. And so I think there's a wide variety of approaches to Canada Corner. The black ice catches everyone out. But I think there's a wide variety of approaches to the setup for today's race. And I'm curious to see how people are handling the kind of mixed conditions we've got out there. The rain has stopped now, and the track drying just a little bit.
The weather on the radar is moving really quickly.
Yeah, it's blowing.
Yeah. Normally, if you start to see, something appear in one corner, it's sort of an hour away, but it's like 20 minutes maybe. So every 20 minutes you check and the radar looks completely different. Our championship leaders here, SimCity Racing. Ryan Puckdell's only in 6th at the moment. You saw he ran off the corner at Canada Corner. That might be one of the corners on the racetrack that sort of keeps the moisture and remains cold. There's trees, very tall trees in the forest either side of the racetrack there. Maybe the sun doesn't quite get to it. You should get your leaf blower out and clear it off, Devon.
Well, I might. Up in Canada, you gotta have a real good snow shovel, a real good snow blower, and a really good leaf blower. Keep all that stuff off your lawns and your sidewalks.
Turn 5. Where's the grip? Not necessarily there, but Ryan Puckdell got a good run in the straight line, so this is potentially tracking for an improvement for him. Gets a tiny bit wide out onto the curb, and you see the moment that he has just there.
Another one tracking for an improvement, actually, is Jared Collins in the Skywalker Racing red BMW. We haven't seen the BMWs taking the top step much, but with this effort, Collins might.
I think you'll find that the turbocharged 6-cylinder is fully operational. Jared Collins has gone to the top. The Skywalker Racing, because he's driving with his dad. So I guess one of them's good but then turned evil, and then the other one's good and then they make up right at the end. Don't know between Jared and Kevin Collins, except that Jared has just gone to the top on what could be an improving racetrack with just 2 minutes left. Ryan Puckdell's finding those little bits of improvements. Cash Savage, I don't think has found any just yet. Still maybe in search of a bit of tyre temperature that takes quite a while to build on a wet racetrack.
I don't think
Nick
GT4
Love.
cars have tire warmers, so when you do a tire swap mid-qualifying, you're going to pay for it. Oh, and a sprinkle of rain coming down all of a sudden out by the kink.
The rain is spotty and, as we've said, moving very quickly. So there's going to be a spot of rain absolutely anywhere at any conceivable time. It looks like an outlap or a lap with a problem for Nick Love there. Oh, has Ryan Buchtel had a problem on his lap? I thought he was up. And now I think that's qualifying done for SimCity Racing.
Yeah, I don't know. Not sure. I'm not seeing where the mistake was, but the dive into the pit lane would suggest that he didn't want to be on the front row.
Well, we're 30 seconds away from the checkered flag waving, so I think you still get one more flying lap in this situation for chasing the Delta Academy Sargento BMW Motorsport. Aaron Myers.
Backfoot boys are going to take one more as well. I think there's 5 guys up at the front here that could all challenge for the lead.
That'll be qualifying over for Balthazar Motorworks as they take pit entry. Coffard narrow exiting turn 3 there. I think he's done as well with the checkered flag now out. Skywalker Racing are about to complete another lap. They're going to go even quicker. An improvement on a 236.8. Yeah, they have, I think.
Yeah,
just a tiny
It was
bit.
a 9 before, and they gained a 10th. Logan Sennhauser coming up in Project Save the Stang. See if they can save the qualifying session a little bit here. Try and bump it into the top 10. Not quite. The young guns getting caught out in the sprinkle of rain here. That I think might be depriving us of some improved laps here. Someone's got to tell these boys about the way the rain likes to puddle on the sides of the track here. It's got a nice little ridge in the middle of this Road America, and they haven't managed to improve on that one. A 237.3 is all they'll have. Good enough for 3rd place.
Here's my extensive research. People from Alabama and Mississippi say the devil is beating his wife to refer to sun shining during a rainstorm.
Wow. I wonder what they would say in the event of a snowstorm, David Haynes.
They'd probably find some,
and sun.
They'd find some very interesting words to say if they had a snowstorm in Alabama and Louisiana and Mississippi. So who else can yet still improve? Is it just Logan Sennhauser? No, because that's the end of qualifying. And it means that there's 3 hours of Road America ahead of us. This one sets the championship standings going into the finale. It's very much like the ChampCar Endurance Series National Championship. 2 best races together, plus the final, and whoever of those together has the best results is going to be our champion and take $200 of ChampCar Endurance Series credit. Skywalker Racing are on pole with chasing the Delta Sargento BMW Motorsport just behind them. Next row is Young Guns and Drive Trainer Motorsport Carbon. Backflip Boys in 5th. The championship leaders, SimCity Racing, are in 6th. Huge Ass in 7th. Love Racing in 8th. Drive Trainer Motorsports Emerald, the BMW at a 9th. 2430 Esports from Canada starting in 10th. The other 2 cars that set qualifying times are Project Save the Stang and Balthazar Motorworks. Slowed expectations, and Andrew Kosick might be a bit of a lonely boy today, and he didn't qualify. Will either start from pit lane or start from 13th. So on the grid, behind the pace car, it's the BMW M2 CS Racing that will lead the field on this pace lap at a speed of 60 miles an hour. When we get going, there's our front row, Jared Collins and Aaron Myers. So let's take a look at the points with 2 races complete and 2 still to come. Well, SimCity Racing have clean swept everything so far with a best result of first and a second best result of first. Their total is at 2. Zach's Hitman Emporium, not present today, have a second and a fourth for a total of 6. 2430 Esports with a total of 10th. Owing to a podium last time out. DTM Carbon and DTM Emerald have been consistent, and a podium for Emerald at the first race at Daytona gives them a total of 14. It's really tight in that group there because they're just ahead of Balthazar Motorworks and Backflip Boys. Project Save the Stang have gone from 10th to a 7th. They start 11th today. Slowed Expectations are 9th and 14th as their finishers, and then Love Racing 12th and 16th. I think not doing one of the previous races for chasing the Delta Academy has actually dropped them out of the top 10 and saved me from having to truncate their team name. So then you take what happens at round 3 today, and we'll still be calculating the best 2 races of 1, 2, and 3, plus the result at the finale of round 4, Sebring, Saturday in 2 weeks' time. SimCity Racing are best placed, but there is a chance for some of these other teams to get a little bit closer, and then it's all on the line when we go to round 4 at Sebring. The weather continues to change so quickly here at Road America, Devon.
Yeah, after a drying qualifying session, it looks like we're back to having a little bit of wet on the track and a little bit of wet in the sky. Cars are wiggling around trying to get their tires warmed up here. It's going to be a treacherous start out there, I think, for a lot of these guys, though it does look like everyone has opted to put wet tires on, as you would expect for a track that's in this sort of condition. So we won't have any sort of creative tire strategies going on at this point. And these guys will have to be careful. I mean, Canada Corner the first time in, Turn 1 the first time in. Hard to know exactly how fast you're going to be able to hit it at race speed.
So there's a couple of measurement tools we can use, and one of them says that the track wetness is 83%. So 100%, I think we'd be having a boat race. 15%, you've got to go from slick tires to wet tires. Well, 83% track wetness means standing water in places, puddles up against all of the curbs, white lines are absolutely lethal. And the rain intensity, at least on the front straight, is also pretty heavy, instantaneous rain, but it's only maybe 10 or 15 minutes from clearing up completely by the looks of things.
It is very cold on the track too. I know this has kind of been a theme of our winter series here, but I think that even if we get the rain out of the sky, there's going to be water on this track for a good long while these guys are splashing through the puddles. It's a long racetrack out here. It takes a long time to throw that all off the track.
Gee, take a look at that curb cam exiting the kink. There was a puddle there. Call up the, I don't know, Wisconsin Radio Sailing Squadron or something. And what about at Canada Corner? You can see tall trees both sides of the racetrack, often long shadows across the racetrack here. Also going to just protect the water that hides in all of those curbs. Well, despite this long lap here at Road America, the pace car hasn't been dilly-dallying. It's done its 60 miles an hour, brought the field around. Green flag not too far away from waving. We do not have Chasing the Delta Academy on the grid. If they start, they're going to be starting from the pit lane with slowered expectations. So Drivetrainer Motorsports' Kyle Robertson moves up a little bit. The pole sitters, Jared Collins for Skywalker Racing, is looking for the green flag. Suddenly after the formation lap, you come back around to the start-finish line, and there's no more rain happening here, but there is a whole heap of standing water then as we head down towards turn 1. Kyle Robertson, that's a good start from that Mustang, the Emerald Drivetrainer Motorsports car. But how much tyre temperature does everyone have? None! Your race leader bowls it wide into the gravel. Young Guns follow them off as well, and Drivetrainer Motorsports lead.
Oh, and I wondered if there'd be any dramas in the first corner, and it delivered. It is treacherous out there right now. I think in the 2 minutes from when they were there, the first time they were there, the track got worse than expected.
Yeah, no tyre temperature, a whole bunch of speed, and then a little bit wide, finding some of the wetter part of the racetrack. There's so much spray underneath the Sargento Cheese Bridge down towards turn 5. This is a tricky braking zone downhill at so much speed, and there's a big lock up and slide from the other Drivetrainer Motorsports car in the BMW Caden Parks Miller. Lucky to stay on the road. That curb is so damp. Chasing the Delta Academy, who qualified second, started from the pit lane and already up into 9th. They're carving their way through, having gone past Skywalker Racing, past Balthazar, past Project Save the Stang, and Andrew Kosick has not started the race. Other big positions gained. Love Racing are up into 3rd.
I don't know if we're back under the cloud cover again as we get into the back half of the track. The GT4s, they don't have tire warmers, right? Because Aaron Myers looks very confident right now as he's slicing and dicing up through the field in that, chasing the Delta Academy car.
I mean, even a race start on slicks, the tires are quite cold. And any category that does have tire warmers normally says that for wet tires, they have to be even lower, or there are none for wet tires. So, I don't think they start with a whole lot of tyre temperature, don't gain a whole lot at pace speed, and they all needed to exercise a little bit more caution into turn 1. Jared Collins, the younger, just a little rush of blood to the head there. His dad, Kevin, will be driving later on.
They're rolling it way up, but it's a hard braking zone here at Canada Corner. The first few getting through unscathed.
Track wetness is down from 80 to 67% though, so it will improve, but it's pretty gnarly right now on that opening lap. From 6th on the grid to in 2nd, your championship leaders. What a start they've had. Looks like for 3rd place, Alex Coffard has had a good run through Canada Corner in the final sector. He's alongside Nick Love for that 3rd place. Ron Wolf in the Mustang just behind them, but with the inside and a big head of speed, it looks like Alex Coffard's going to look for that 3rd place into turn 1. Where is the grip in the middle of the corner though? Is it around the outside? Not if you touch the grass. No way.
Yeah, Nick Love gets 2 tires out on the dirt, and he's lucky to keep it pointed the right way. The young guns are coming up the inside now, trying to take some positions back. They fell down as far as 8th. They're up into 5th now with that move. Very close through the inside on Nick Love. What do we got here?
Well, more problems at turn 1, and that's wide, way wider from Aaron Myers, who had been launching up the field and is now back to 10th.
One does have to be careful when chasing the Delta, because a very green Delta in the braking zone can sometimes mean a very quick end to your racing line.
Underneath the Corvette Bridge, top of the hill. Big bit of runoff there that you might not want to touch.
Sebastian Day in the 2430 esports car is looking pretty racy right now. So he's trying to get back around Nick Love after Love got him into turn number 1.
Well, we saw the backflip boys, Alex Coffard, go through past Nick Love, but then so did the Huge Ass Mustang, so did Young Guns in that white Porsche just ahead. And now there's a handful of other drivers lining up behind Nick Love as he goes the long, wide way around the carousel in search of a drier bit of racetrack, maybe a less rubbered in and slick piece of racetrack. But there's way more speed, breaking into the bend for 2430 esports. Get down the inside, tiny bit of muscle. Nick Love, ooh, back into him. And that is a car park at the exit of the bend. Drivetrainer Motorsport's going to try to follow through, and Skywalker Racing, no.
Brutal hit there. Nick Love and the Sebastian Day 2430 esports car, I think they get tangled up and can't separate themselves in the rain. Not enough grip available, and hydroplane out into the wall real hard.
Wow, they're back in 12th place. A lot of drivers keeping a tight exit out of the final corner, seeing how much water has pooled just on the exit. Kyle Robertson still leading. Ryan Pucktel picking up some pace, but Alex Coffard is so set right now.
Oh, and Nick Love is struggling to get that thing back to the pits. A lot of damage on the left front corner. The car doesn't want to turn. It's a long lap around here, so luckily not causing any danger for the other drivers as he limps it back to the pit lane.
Coffard's door-to-door here. Look in the mirror as he's side-by-side with SimCity Racing. The two Porsches battling for second. Alex Coffard looking for that second place. Ryan Pucktel, I think, has gone around the outside of turn 3 and managed to fend off. Now it's where's the grip braking downhill from immense speed. You've got to be able to stop the car at the bottom of the hill.
And that was great work, just parking it on that apex by the SimCity car. Really tough to do. Little touch and a little wiggle on the exit from Ryan, and that's going to let Coffard by.
Oh, and that's wide from 5th place at the bottom of the hill. Exit at the Hurry Downs. Cash Savage and Young Guns run wide. So now a gap forming between your top 4 and the rest. It's trying to regain the positions that they lost at turn 1. Skywalker Racing, Jared Collins up now into 5th position from basically the highest heights to the back of the field to now back into 5th.
And I would love to just watch the Collins in the Skywalker Racing car there just for a moment as he tries to get on the throttle. I think we're seeing it everywhere through the field, but these cars are wiggling all over the place, like barely under control in the braking zones. It's good stuff. Doing the dance on the pedals.
Yeah, just 2 pedals in the Mustang GT4, but there's 3 pedals in the Mustang Challenge Cup car, which undoubtedly is going to be coming to iRacing soon, right?
That's yeah, I hear that lots. I hear lots of people saying that.
Many smart people are saying it. There's a lap completed now. Are they picking up pace? They sure are. Now, if it was a clean lap, Alex Coffard would have just set the fastest lap of the race, but he's extended the track limits. Lap time deleted in F1 terms, but a 240.8 is going quick. Robertson runs a bit wide, and now Alex Coffard, he's got tyre temperature and confidence. He's moved forward in this field. He's going to try around the outside at turn 3. Is that the place to be? Look how slick it looks out there. Whew. He makes it work, though.
Yeah, you see the dichotomy of the braking zone better for the Mustang on the inside, but the corner and exit better for Alex Coffard as he was able to roll a lot more speed through the apex. We'll see who's got the better line into one of the most treacherous corners on the track, especially in the wet. A little bit of contact. And Coffard's going to take the spot away. That's first place for the backflip boys.
They're not backwards at going forwards, and now they lead this race from 5th on the grid. After just 10 minutes, they are leading from Kyle Robertson, who had a great start. Ryan Pucktel still sitting there in 3rd for SimCity Racing. The Mustang seems to have come on reasonably well for the 337 as well. And the gap from this top 4 back to 5th could be shrinking because that is a fastest lap of the race for Jared Collins, a 239.8. And I think they're going to go even quicker shortly as well.
Yeah, he seems to be driving that thing right on the ragged edge. We'll see if we can get a shot of it here. Last time on the exit of the carousel, he was 3 different kinds of sideways. This time a little bit more under control. But
noticeably closer to the race leaders right now. Third gear on the way into the bend, down into second, just exiting, and then quickly back up into third gear again. Finally, a BMW GT4 car with reasonably spaced gears.
Yeah, he does look really comfortable though right now, and with nearly a second faster than the leader, that's going to make a big difference. I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the rear bumper of the Mustang ahead in less than a lap.
There's a bit happening up there. Ron Wolf's just behind Ryan Puchtel for third. And now trying to challenge him. Well, there's more than just right behind him, exiting the final corner. He's giving him the hurry up, you would say.
This looks like a supercars race out here, Haynes. Got the rain, we got Mustangs, we're bumping into each other. It's great.
Yeah, not enough tape, but that nose might need some for Ron Wolf. He has dented front of his car. He's like, which way do I go in towards turn 1? Nothing's really opening up for him. A new fastest lap of the race again from Jared Collins. He's coming. He's on his way.
Okay. He's found something. New fastest lap and a second faster than the lap before, critically. So found something and continuing to find it. Reacting to the conditions is important though, and the conditions, as far as I see them, another sprinkle of rain right here before what looks to be clear skies off in the distance.
Still immense amounts of spray coming off the cars. The track is still waterlogged even if the rain begins to ease. Now top 4, what a race they're having, but will it soon be a top 5? Jared Collins has gone from sort of 6 seconds behind the race lead to 3.5 seconds back, to just looming in the back of every shot and closing.
Ryan Puchtel goes very defensive on the inside as they head towards the carousel, and that looks like the huge-ass Mustang of Ron Wolf is going to get the run on the outside and the inside into the carousel, taking third place away. And a bit of a slow start here from SimCity Racing, it must be said, after pretty dominant shows of pace in the last couple rounds.
It's wide from Coffard exiting the carousel as he has a big moment breaking into the bend. He's off track. He's going to need to mind his rejoin, and it's probably going to give him a slowdown there. So he's made a big handful of the bend and the carousel. Yeah, here goes second and third now. So it starts there. He's wide. He's offline. And then I think it's just hindered his braking and his car placement. He's had to swerve to avoid drilling the race leader. That's the spot even for Skywalker Racing. Jared Collins goes ahead as well and up into fourth.
Had this last little sprinkle of rain catching some people out here. And now we've got the biggest gap we've seen at the lead of this race. 2 seconds nearly for Kyle Robertson, who has a big slide on the exit. That's going to cost you some time. Luckily the Mustang's got lots of power. Get it down those straights. What's this, a Mustang 1.2, David Haynes?
Does the Stang need any saving, is the question.
And Jared Collins up to fourth. And starting to put pressure on Puchtel, I'd say. Goes fastest again on that last time by.
I would say new fastest lap of the race, lap on lap consecutively. 3 in a row, perhaps 4 in a row from Jared Collins. So that's your top 6 right there. Not bad.
Yeah, that's
a couple of laps from the young guns, to be honest. I think they've learned maybe a little bit from watching Jared Collins.
Yeah, I think so too. I think when you do it 3 times in a row, it's called a turkey, Haynes.
Is that disc golf parlance, or I don't understand?
A bowling. This is a Midwest joke, David Haynes. Yeah.
Okay. Bit of gravel there at the top of the hill from some other drivers running wide. Shades of Qatar. Not going to institute a maximum number of laps on a set of tyres here. That's deep and wide again from Alex Coffard, struggling to pick his braking zones. He runs wide at the end of the hurry downs. The young guns give him a little flash of the headlights. Not what I'd do, but maybe they don't know Alex Coffard as well as you and I.
I heard that guy does backflips. Young guns looking up the inside here and not committing, but not committing. And Alex Coffard slams the door on them, making sure
we all know someone in a relationship like that.
Yeah, exactly. Alex Coffard slams the door and makes sure that they know there is no opening here. Meanwhile, as we approach Canada corner up ahead, I'm seeing Jared Collins trying to put a move on SimCity Racing on the exit here. Oh, yeah. It's a hard place to make a pass. But they look to be trying just about every other line from what the guys ahead are doing right now. Car looks very comfortable in the wet.
Still looking like we're getting quicker lap on lap here. Coffard's stabilised a little bit there, still with Cash Savage just behind him. Over the start-finish line, Jared Collins is looking for the inside of turn one, but surely he's got to be pretty cautious about where he brakes here. Trying to get down the inside of SimCity Racing. Needs to be very delicate against the curb on the inside on that tight line. Not a whole lot of grip, but then Puchtel's a tiny bit wide, gets the exit curb, and I think this is just going to sneak Collins up into third.
Very comfortable Collins under braking, really showing off that advantage that he seems to have at this point in the race, and that's fourth place. That's third place for Skywalker Racing.
The replay for chasing the Delta at turn one. Yep, that's wide once more.
That's one of those replays, eh?
Waiting for Porsche to release a 718 Cayman Dakar edition. If the 911 can have a Dakar edition, if the Cayman can have a Dakar edition, so if the Cayenne can have a Dakar edition, give us a Cayman lifted. The rally lights could do with the lights for sure today, right now, in these gloomy October conditions.
Yeah, middle of the day, but lots of clouds out there. And we're watching the fight for second place right here. You'd be mistaken for thinking it's first, but the Mustang of Drive Trainer Motorsports is just up the road there, still holding on to that 2-second lead that opened up when the backflip boys went and tossed it off the road at the kink a few laps ago.
Kyle Robertson's been executing this very unique strategy of just keeping his tyres on the road, and it gave them the race lead at turn one, and it's kept them the race lead ever since. This is on board with Collins, who's reformed his ways and is now trying to stay on the racetrack, trying to pick where to brake at Canada corner a little bit earlier than Ron Wolf, then sort of sets himself for a slightly better exit.
And it is about as cold out there as I've ever seen a track temperature probe. That's 59 degrees Fahrenheit.
Guess it's a bit chilly right now.
Now, Collins is still looking racy, peeking out, and has really had mastery of this braking zone into one. We'll see. Mustang boys aren't going to let that happen, but they might not stay on the track. Oh, that was a deep trip through the braking zone, and another fastest lap of the race for Collins, and another position for Collins as they drive it up into second place there. I think the force might be with him, David Haynes.
Do or do not, there is no try.
Certainly
so they're up into second.
37-2. Yeah, last time by. That's overtaking two cars and 0.8 faster still than the leader.
So after their earlier problems at the bend, Love Racing are back out on track. Nick Love driving a repaired Cayman here. And last lap was not so bad at all at a 2:38, quite competitive with what the top 5 are doing. He'll play himself back into this race. He's actually very quickly catching a couple of the other cars there, like Sennhauser Racing Team and Balthazar Motorworks. And then a 2:37.8 makes him the second quickest car on track on that lap. So he's some way behind the leaders, but flying along right now. It looks like, yeah, Drive Trainer Motorsports Emerald and Chasing the Delta have been going back and forth as well. We saw Chasing the Delta be very quick, but off the road once or twice. Has that happened again, maybe?
Nope, they just got about as close as two cars I've ever seen get under the Corvette bridge. I thought we were about to see an accident, but they pulled it out well, and Caden Parks Miller is very confident. We'll see if we get a replay of it here. Very close in the spray. I bet you can't see anything from the front seat of that Porsche. They get down in the braking zone here, and the exit bad for the Emerald Mustang, and as they go under the Corvette bridge here, you'll see it. Oh, it's a BMW, I apologize. But Aaron Myers, they were in the puddle, splashing, hydroplaning, and battling all the way around. But Caden Parks Miller seems to be very confident just throwing that car sideways, especially apex out on the corners and just matting the throttle. And it's serving him well. Fast lap last time, 2:38.7, puts him on pace nearly with the front end of the pack. But not the fastest guy. That honor still goes to Skywalker Racing, who's just going to put a 2:36 down last time by.
Live here, Aaron Myers looks like he's finally going to get that 7th place, as long as he breaks in good time for turn 1. Always a question mark. Challenging. Massive speed there. And he gets that 7th.
Yeah. I'm just so impressed by how Collins seems to be in his element right now. Pushing the pace up at the front of the field. Meanwhile, 3rd and 4th place, that's Ron Wolf trying to hold off Ryan Pucktel.
Don't think the BMWs look too bad at the moment, to be honest with you. Yeah, here we go, 3rd and 4th. Pucktel about half a second quicker last lap. Backflip boys even quicker. That's a gain perhaps a tiny bit deep into some of these braking zones for Wolf, who needs to carry a whole heap of brake all the way through the corner to stay on the road. Is the correct racing line through the carousel changing a little bit as they displace some water?
Hard to say. I think what I'm seeing is just puddles on all the curbs, and both entry and exit, and I think it's catching people out from time to time. Really hard to see from the driver's seat where those puddles are forming, but they are occasionally just getting real deep in corners, I think because they're splashing and hydroplaning on the brakes. Hard to feel that when you're not in the car, in the real world.
What spare parts did they put on the Love Racing 647? Because again, Nick Love is the second fastest car on track. A new PB for him is only 0.3 away from the fastest lap of the race by Skywalker Racing. Gee, they done something.
He was quick. He was quick in the pack, but this kind of transitional environment, I think, really values experienced drivers, and Love and Collins are both experienced drivers. Certainly know what they're doing behind the wheel of a car, and Love will be praying for a yellow flag to kind of get him back to the pack later on in this race.
Eat, pray, love.
I think it's break, pray, love. Maybe for him.
I'm more live, laugh, love. You know that about me and my interior decor choices. Still close between 7th and 8th here, Myers and Caden Parks Miller. If Myers stays on the road, I think he stays ahead. And it's 3rd and 4th, you know. Ryan Pucktel's been very good across all of the conditions in all of the previous races, but he sort of, does that now make him aim to be quite cautious for the first half of this race? Is that what he's doing?
It's hard to say. He really seems to be struggling in these conditions, and so my only thought is that maybe anticipating a little bit of dryness towards the second half of this race, they've gone and set the car up in a very low downforce setup. We'll have to see how that plays out. The skies have stopped raining, still overcast, and still a lot of water on the track, but maybe we'll see a resurgent SimCity racing car in the second half. At this point, they certainly don't seem to have the pace that they've had in previous rounds.
They are the fastest in the speed trap, though, so maybe it will come towards them. The rain is gone, but the sun is not out, so this racetrack is, at all 4 miles of it, will take quite some effort to really dry off. But we keep seeing the, fastest lap of the race tumble, and they're finding a little bit more pace, but still a long way away from a dry track and dry racing speeds.
Yeah, even though the rain is gone, there's still a lot of spray, and I don't think they can see clearly as they're going down the front straightaway.
They can't see clearly now, even though the rain is gone?
That's what I was thinking, David Haynes.
Still very, very cold racetrack. Ron Wolf goes all the way to the concrete pit wall and kicks up the spray and the standing water there. And Pucktel, at the distance that he was behind, is sort of looking for visibility best he can down the front straight. Jared Collins, with a new fastest lap of the race, gets within 1 second of the race lead, so he's just gently pushing his way up towards Drive Trainer Motorsport Carbon.
First one down into the 35s, just like he was the 36s, 37s, 38s, 39s, 40s.
Reverse auctioneer Devin Peters.
I think that's the regular direction of auctioneer David Haynes. Going up.
No, but I think that slower lap times are...
Yeah, more valuable, sure enough. Either way, Jared Collins is certainly putting the pressure on, as you noted.
Because if I was auctioneering, I'd be like, we've got a 238, can I get a 237? 237 over here, can I get a 236? Is the direction I would typically auction lap times, if I'm honest with you.
This is real auctioneer David Haynes speaking. And Collins, you can see him just closing up. Every single corner seems to have just a little bit more grip than the guy ahead. Especially in the second phase of the braking, like there's kind of the initial stab and it's pretty equivalent, but seems to be able to just roll a little bit more to the turn-in point. And we might have a move here. It's a tough corner to make a move in, especially if we're going to go around the outside. Collins is peeking, and not going to do it this time, or is he? Oh, and a big moment from Robertson on the exit. Spins it up, and Collins just drives right around on the exit. And that's the lead for Jaron Collins, a long time Bruin.
Taking him almost half an hour to get back there, but he leads now from Drive Trainer Motorsports Carbon. Ron Wolf only just ahead of Ryan Pucktel at the moment. Here comes Alex Coffard to 3rd, 4th, 5th down front straight as a tiny bit of sun begins to show.
Pucktel, quick last time by. Faster in a straight line means you get there quicker in the wet. It doesn't mean you turn quicker. Pucktel has the better line though and is able to definitely slice up the inside with that tiny little Porsche race car. Taking the spot away from Ron Wolf in the huge ass mobile.
Young Guns still looming in the background of our top 6, as well as a little bit of blue sky shows. Track's still 50% wetness with lots of puddles, lots of spray. Bucktel up into 3rd. Breaking down in towards turn 5, Alex Coffard moves across to a wetter side of the racetrack, then through to a later apex. He was the fastest car on track last lap.
Yeah.
So changeable up and down in these conditions, isn't it?
Yeah, the little differences in draft. It has been interesting for me just noticing how Bucktel seems to be really comfortable. Oh, and they're a little bit wide, and Cofford catches that water and runs it wide out into the dirt. And that little puddle on the entry there into the hurry downs turn 8, and we'll see. And we got 2 wide here for 7th place. We're about to see an on board going down into turn 5. And another loose moment, that time from Caden Parks Miller in the Drive Trainer Motorsports Emerald car. And they're still 2 wide through the Corvette, under the Corvette bridge. But the Drive Trainer Motorsports car is going to eventually hold on to that position.
Yeah, we saw the offboard of that one a little while ago. Right-hander at the top of the hill, the fast right-hander at the hurry downs. It seemed like around the outside was the way to go rather than get pinched a little bit at the apex.
And after 1 lap of open air, Jared Collins has 1.3 seconds to his name.
And you know what? The boys in the lane a tiny bit early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Curious. What are you thinking here, David Haynes?
I'm thinking paint me surprised. Don't paint me like one of your French girls. So what are they going to do tyres-wise? Definitely going to get a bunch of fuel in there. Is this Alex Coffard looking for an early driver swap? Seems like Coffard's staying. And it's only when that car goes down off the jacks that we're going to know what tyres they've elected to go to. There's going to be no more rain, but the track right now still feels very wet. So if you pit now and go to a new set of wets, then you're going to have all of that problem. If you take fuel only, the car doesn't go up on the jacks, right? So they definitely are taking tyres. Coffard stays in, wet tyres, 37 seconds of fuel.
Maybe back timing the end of the race a little bit, or maybe splitting the what they imagine to be the wet stints, because there's no rain falling and none on the forecast right now, but there is a very cold track still that's hindering the drying process.
Because if you kept the hot tyres but put some fuel in, I can understand that. But I think that's new, cold, wet tyres, which will be challenging for a lap or 2 or 3 or 4. And eventually you will need to get rid of.
I do wonder if we'll see anyone choose to double stint today with the track being wet. We'll have to see. Not super common in these GT4 cars. A little battle brewing for 3rd and 4th place. The Young Guns have managed to overtake Ron Wolf in the huge ass mobile. I think while we were in the pit lanes, Ron Wolf actually had a bit of a drama in Canada Corner. Sorry about that, eh, Ron?
Yeah, and the Young Guns are just going to try and get right out the final corner there, but we'll take a look. So they've got the position at this point, and they're heading towards Canada Corner.
And the black ice might catch them out here.
It just doesn't stop, does it? Does not slow down.
The track is still frigid out there, 59 Fahrenheit. At this point, I think they're just pushing the water around. Not trying much of anything.
No, but there is some of the gustiest winds I've seen in a while.
Ooh.
So maybe when you lift it off the track and into the air, it, ends up back in Lake Michigan or wherever.
I think that might have caught out Cameron Senhauser in the Save the Stain card. He had a little moment in the final turn. We haven't heard much from him. We've been lapping around 9th, 10th place and slid it off. You'll see it here. Oh, no, sorry, wrong end of the track. But he slid it off in the final corner, just ran it through the dirt. And is back again. We'll see him come up the hill. Nothing too spectacular, but 22 mile an hour gusting hard out there. And when you hit the brakes, these Mustangs, sometimes they just don't stop for you. That might have actually been more of a done churn for you type of situation, if I'm honest, Ains.
No use shutting the gate after the horse is bolted. Yeah, so it's Cameron Senhauser driving at the moment. So Logan later on seems like their driving plan. On board with Kyle Robertson briefly there in second place. Ever since Jared Collins has gone past him, he's had a look at Jared Collins' lines and braking points and seems to have found a little bit more speed as well. Having, been the race leader the whole way, and the only braking point advice he picked up from anyone else was just don't brake where Jared Collins did in turn 1. There's a bit of Ron Wolf's gravel, I think, on the exit of the final corner. The Senhauser and Young Guns gravel.
I think a lot of people have been contributing to the gravel out here today. It's a dirty track as well as a wet track at this point. Ooh.
Here's Love Racing making a position around the outside of Balthazar Motor Works. Nick Love's pace after that early pit stop has finally caught him back up a spot.
And a little bit of banking there in that corner, and not much, but Nick Love seems to be very comfortable around the outside there. Makes that quite easy. And still showing a lot of pace back there. 2:35.9 last time by compared to the leaders 2:35.8, and as you indicated, a 2:35.1 from second place. This thing might not be solved just yet.
Top 3 at the top of the hill, about to go down the Hurry Downs. Kyle Robertson, personal best a previous lap down into the 2:35s. Skywalker Racing in the 2:35 still have the fastest lap of the race. No, they don't. Ryan Buchtel's just pinched it.
Yeah.
Okay. Top 3 looking interesting as the dynamic track continues to unfold, dry out just a little bit, but slowly.
And while we were away from the top 3 became a top 3 because Cash Savage tossed it off in turn number 1. Pretty consistent kind of incident that we've seen where people just get a little deep in the braking zone. But that means that we've now got a battle for 4th place that's formed up. Ron Wolf in the middle of Myers Cash sandwich here. That's far too wordy of a joke that's in my head. I could see the gears turning back there.
It's going to be something about, it's Got to be a sandwich with cream because cash rules everything around me. But that's your race leader coming into the pit lane after just 40 minutes. Okay. Jared Collins bringing Skywalker Racing into the lane, but no one else seems intent on following him. This is 3 laps after the Backflip boys pitted. Drivetrain to go back to the lead of the race. SimCity up into second. Huge Ass going to go through to 4th, chasing the Delta to 5th, but Young Guns follow them in. So Cash Savage for the pit lane. Are we going to get driver changes? What kind of service?
Too wide into turn 1 is what I was looking at. Aaron Myers diving it around the outside of Ron Wolf right now. And the two of them getting real feisty as they drive through the gravel and the rain down to turn 2 and 3. And Wolf wiggling under the brakes. But again, is going to have the advantage on the exit of that wide line and carries a little bit more momentum. And I think that'll be enough to clear the Mustang on the early phase of this straightaway. I think there's a corner in here technically.
Yeah, turn 4, Sargento Cheese Bridge.
And Aaron Myers holding off the huge ass Mustang right behind him. But yeah, back in the pit lane, what do you got?
Driver change at Skywalker Racing. Kevin Collins gets in the BMW from Jared Collins, and the Young Guns also have a swap. Cash out, Keegan in. Here comes some of the other cars, though. That's Sennhauser Racing Team, and that's Backflip Boys going through. So that slightly earlier stop from Backflip Boys has undercut Skywalker Racing, but they've got sort of 3 or 4 laps less fuel. Oh, but no, cold tyres. Kevin Collins has had a big drama at turn 3 there. Look at how lazy that spin was, because those tyres are stone cold.
The stated goal of the team was to stay in vision of the leaders for a while, and they've achieved that so far through the first stint. But they're having a tough little start to the stint.
Measurement of the track wetness is still 50%, and you still, even when they're on the drier parts of the racetrack, see quite a bit of spray coming off the cars. Once there's less spray, it might be time for a change.
Ron Wolf had another moment down at Canada Corner. Same old, just driving it deep into the dirt. But that's cost him a spot from the Young Guns. We'll see it here. I take it back, not from the Young Guns, from the Chasing the Delta Academy car up ahead. And that Mustang just does not want to break into the Canada Corner there. And I think it...
Tell you what it's not is Canada Dry.
Oh, there you go. And the Young Guns have had an issue somewhere, because they've actually dropped all the way back down to 6th place.
Well, they had their stop. Backflip Boys had tire temperature and went past them.
That's what it is. Yeah, you're right. And actually, they've gained a spot. Getting word that 2430 might have had a little moment of their own in Canada Corner. See if we pick it up here. Coming in, as usual. They get on the brakes. It looks pretty normal, but out there's a little puddle, and they found it. Oh, narrowly avoiding the tire wall on the inside, but keep it off the wall. And then
still carried some, love-related damage on that car.
Yeah,
love bites, if you will.
Burrell Art cart carries on, but now with a lot of pressure from the Backflip Boys.
Yeah, Backflip Boys are the highest running car that have made a pit stop. So if the track dries up much in the next 20 minutes and everyone needs to stop early, that could be their advantage. Don't want to get held up too much in the traffic here. So he's looking around behind Sebastian Day, who gets into turn 5. Just a tiny bit hot, stays on the road. Oh, this could be costly if Coffard doesn't get through soon.
The leaders just had a an instant, looking a lot like our Porsche did last lap. He's kept it off the wall, Kyle Robertson has, but he's gone in, solved the braking zone, but all of a sudden the traction zone on the exit of Canada corner is looking like an issue. And you know what? He
too much to the apex.
Yeah, he started sliding right at the apex, and yeah, locks it up, keeps it off the wall, but that gives the lead to SimCity Racing. The lead overall, if not in aggregate. We'll have to see once these pit stops.
Stay out another lap. Drive trainer didn't look like they were coming in. Nope. Chasing the Delta now up into third. There. From Huge Ass and Drive Trainer Motorsport Emerald. Back to the boys did get past 24:30.
Emerald hits the pit lane for their first stop of the race. We'll see if Caden Parks Miller opts to stay in after having fun splashing around in the rain, tossing that BMW all over the racetrack. It takes a fast repair to repair that bumper. I wasn't sure he would. Wonder if that's been affecting their straight line. Does look like it's maybe a mile or two down on the rest of the world.
That car's not up on the jacks, is it?
It isn't, David Haynes.
That's an interesting decision to go fuel only here, and one that I see merit in. 24:30 are in. You expect that they might take some repairs. Nick Love is in for the second time. Didn't really take much fuel after his lap 1 pit stop, or whenever it was.
Yeah, not a lot of room left in the tank at that point.
The 24:30 car does go up on the jacks, and it looks like they'll have a driver change. Nick Love goes up for Love Racing.
Yeah, so we'll have one car trying out the double stint of the tires. Might be some interesting intel here.
Balthazar stays down on the ground.
Hey, if the guy's headed doing one thing, you got to try something different. Puckdell is coming around the final turn. You got to think, even with a little bit of rainy conditions, sipping at the fuel, he's getting close to a stop, but it won't be this lap.
Jack Simpson has a quick twist of the wheel to check that everything's attached and that there's some temperature. Now, we did get told who Nick Love 4 was. I think it's his dad. And he's got new tyres at turn 1, and just behind him is someone who's got hot tyres, so that will probably be interesting to watch. Drive Trainer Motorsports Carbon bring their Mustang in. SimCity Racing will stay out another lap. Chasing the Delta will stay out another lap. The Huge Ass Mustang is in.
Yeah. So more and more of the leaders taking their spot in the lane. Puckdell did have a good bit of draft help in that first stint. So it might be the reason that he's continuing on so well. And we've got the Cameron Senhauser in the Project Save the Sand car. Was that an overtake or just under pressure here from Kevin Collins?
Senhauser hasn't stopped yet. Kevin Collins has obviously gotten in just a couple of laps ago. Had that half spin at 3, but we'll have much more tyre temperature now than before. Ooh, tiny bit of a slide off of that curb. I'd try to stay off that, mayhaps.
The dry bites out here, or the wet bites out here. Pit lane full up and busy. We got Kyle Robertson in the Drive Trainer Carbon car coming out, rejoining. Under a little bit of pressure from the young guns here. We're going to try and make a move around the outside. And crossing over on the exit. Nicely done. Big run for the young guns. A little bit of tire temperature, a little bit of momentum, and I think that's a position for those young guns there.
Yes, it seems it didn't get a look at what happened for the tyres on those Mustangs myself.
I'm seeing fresh tires from just about everyone. including that.
We know there's two that didn't though.
Yeah. We've still got who was it? I had the Balthazar Motorworks that didn't. And was it 2430? Or Project Save the Stang?
Well, they're only just in now and that car's up. So Logan Sennhauser gets in for Cameron Sennhauser.
No, it was Drivetrainer Emerald is who it was, Haynes. Just wanted to see. I'll have to keep
Race leader comes in. Ryan Pucktel, SimCity Racing, not just the race leader, but the championship leader at this point. And he's going to be followed in by the only other car that hasn't pitted yet at this point, chasing the Delta Academy and Aaron Myers. It is a long pit road here with many pit stalls at Road America. So you spend a long time trundling down that lane looking for where your crew is at, but Ryan Pucktel will find his. And Backflip Boys are the highest running car still with a pit stop under their belt and could come back around towards close to the race lead. That car's up. And so's that one.
Checking in now on the Backflip Boys, who had a little bit of an off at the kink, diving it in a little bit deep, but they're pushing right now. And I think they're racing with the guys in the pit lane. Hoping to be first place. And they're not going to be first. SimCity Racing pulls out of the pits well ahead of them, albeit on cold tires. But they will filter into second. With the young guns right behind him. Aaron Myers chasing the Delta rejoins in about 5th place as Kyle Robertson sweeps by in turn number 1. And the new top 5 after the pit cycle complete: Pucktel and SimCity Racing, Backflip Boys and Crawford, Young Guns with Keegan Allen at the wheel, Drivetrainer Motorsports Carbon with Kyle Robertson, and chasing the Delta Academy with Aaron Myers.
And it looked like new tyres that they were carefully bringing in here, but also heaps of fuel went in to this Porsche Cayman after they ran long in that first stint. So that puts SimCity Racing from 6 on the grid now in a commanding race leading position. Fourth and fifth, Kyle Robertson should have a little bit more tyre temperature going on right now. The track temp is still low.
It's cold out there, but there is a little bit of sun starting to peek through. Not affecting the track temp just yet, but as we come up on the 1 hour mark of this race, Ryan Pucktel has somehow churned that first place stint where he was in the middle of the pack into a 7.5 second lead over this battle for second place between Crawford and the Young Guns. I wonder, do you think Keegan Allen can do a backflip?
Well, what are the kids these days doing? There's probably lots of TikTok views and doing the backflip, so maybe.
Fair enough. The Young Guns are both carton boys by their nature. It shows as they peek up the inside there. Cash
flash the headlights on a go-kart though.
If there were a button for that, I'm sure they would be. They've got a lot of experience with the endurance go-karts, trying to turn that experience in the go-kart track into some real-world racing. And they're getting some virtual racing here as they get up alongside Alex Crawford. A little side draft, a little squeeze. And Keegan's trying to hold the outside into 5 here. It's a hard place to do it, but that over-under move has served him well before, and it's going to serve him again. Still have the inside line heading up to the Corvette Bridge.
In dry conditions, that black curb is good racing line, but it looks a little slippery in the wet. So the narrow exit worked out very well for Keegan Allen, who looks like he's calling dibs on second position now. Oh, but then wide, slow, late tap of the brake pedal. Downhill, he's not going quick at all.
But Crawford's had a few brushes with death after that. Puddle catches him out and the door gets slammed. Maybe a little bit of payback for earlier in the race. And Crawford's getting pushed real wide and has to get back inside. But he says, hey, young one, I know an over-under. I've done that before. It's a good racing here for second place. Nearly contacts through the kink. And who can get the traction on the exit here as they drag race down towards Canada Corner. And that's what, 5, 6, 7, 10 corners side by side here at Road America for the Young Guns and Alex Crawford and the Backflip Boys Mobile deep on the brakes for Keegan Allen, and that might finally do it. And meanwhile, lurking in the background, you can see Kyle Robertson in the Drivetrainer Carbon Mustang getting closer and closer. And off in the distance, what you're not seeing is the SimCity racing car getting further and further ahead. 9 seconds now up the road from second place.
There's a bit of slipstream still to be found in these conditions.
Crawford does seem to be willing to just live right up there on the rear bumper. Ooh, and I must say, Keegan did a really good job of just tickling the edge of that puddle through turn 1.
Dramas for Balthazar Motorworks. Turn 5, they've been off the road. A long way off the road. And knocked the right front wheel out of that car. We were appreciating their strategy of keeping the warm tyres on, but you've also got to keep the wheels on.
Yeah, Nick Love has driven past Balthazar there and I think said, hey buddy, I tried that 3-wheel strategy earlier in the race and it didn't pay off for me. And Justin Woods in Balthazar car is struggling to keep it on track, but slowly driving down through the kink. That's Ryan Puchtel in the SimCity racing car comes through the carousel, getting a little closer.
I don't think the spray quite knows what to make of that right front tyre.
Yeah, it's an ugly little splash that's coming off of it.
The second, third, fourth is still so tight. So we saw Keegan Allen get up into that second position, but Alex Crawford's still harrying him. Kyle Robertson sitting that 1 second behind with a great view of it.
And Ryan Puchtel is going to have no worries because Justin Woods is going to get that car into the pit lane as the leader of the race comes by. And we see our first car going a lap down. Second, third, and fourth are all going to put their lap on that car as well. Keegan Allen still under pressure from Alex Crawford, but not quite as close this time into turn number 1. And a little bit of bobbing and weaving around the puddles. What's the rain percentage calculator say now, David Haynes?
Well, it says 0% rainfall, but it's been just hanging at 50% track saturation for a while. So I've been having an eye on, does the measurement of how much lying water there is change? And when it does, what will that mean? But this track is still wet. You need a little bit more of that sun to come out if you can get it. That could make a difference. I can see the sun now.
Yeah, certainly not a hot day out there. 66 on the Fahrenheit scale. 59 on the track, though, still, and that's definitely hindering the drying of the track. When you show up in November, that's the kind of thing you tend to get. Interesting to see
Robertson went wide there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, exiting the carousel. All 4 tyres in the wet grass. And so even I'm saying the racetrack's not that dry. The curbs are wet. The grass is even wetter.
Onboard shots here from that backflip boys Porsche. And the gap's kind of stabilizing between these three. About a second between each. And all three looking pretty comfortable, but looking pretty racy too. Keegan Allen in that Young Guns car actually takes a half second out of the leader last time by. So still pushing at the front of this pack. Crawford and the backflip boys might need to take some notes. I heard these guys were forced to get out of the rookie class because they were cleaning up too much at their local endurance go-kart circuit.
I've got a thing at my local hire karts called Friday Night Challenge, and the winner gets like a slab of energy drinks. It's like 60 cans or something. I'm like, ooh, need to get me some of that.
I like your odds, David Haynes, and I would like to see the video footage of that, so please do. Ooh. Just had a little bit of a blink there from our Young Guns. Internet connection, perhaps the most mechanical issue that one can have around here. And that gap is suddenly coming down, David Haynes. Now 7 seconds from leader to 6.5 seconds from leader to second place.
Yeah. Pucktel lost a bit of time somewhere.
He had a bad turn 5, but nothing that I can see that would really, he'd categorize as cataclysmic.
Project Save the Stang are trying to go by 2430 Esports at turn 1. That's actually our closest cars on track. Logan Senhauser just sneaking ahead of Jack Simpson. Cameron Senhauser started and qualified the Stang. 2430 have been through the pit lane twice. I think that's brought them back together. It seems like the number 9's got a tiny bit more pace at the moment. Don't touch that curb though. Ooh, boy. Lucky to stay on track, but it did put him very wide and costly. Any traction on that curb on the outside? No. 2430's Cayman's going to get back to the inside underneath the bridge.
Yeah, the
back ahead.
Kart drivers representing themselves well. Spinning up the tires a little bit on the exit, and they get a little push from the Mustang. Mustangs seem to be willing to use that front end on our little Porsches out here.
Don't touch wet paint.
Yeah, don't touch wet paint.
Lap.
Don't touch late curves.
Well, Keegan Allen's a second and a half faster than Ryan Puchtel. That time is still coming down.
And for what it's worth, Puchtel a second and a half slower than everyone in the top 4. Top 5 even. So that was a bad trip through turn number 5 there. But I think just generally maybe hitting that wall of focus, maybe a couple mistakes. Some of the lines that Puchtel's been taking, especially through this portion of the lap, have looked pretty different from my camera to what some of the other folks are doing. So I was a little curious to see if maybe there's some limitation there. We'll have to see. The transition now. So this track maybe starts to dry out. Significant. Yeah. What's that?
Oh, we've had a change in the dial on track saturation down 1 notch, so it's still progressing.
49%. Well, it will be a bit of a question to see. It's still nowhere near dry, but it will be one day. And Crawford's an old dog, but still learning some new tricks, I think, from those young boys ahead. Running a 10th faster than them last time by.
I've seen your dog. Have you taught it to do backflips?
360s, no backflips. And actually barrel rolls, but we call that one bang. What, for shooting the gun at the dog?
Save the Stang in 2430 again.
Oh, those two cannot get enough of this.
No, sir, that Mustang is quick, but then it touches a wet curb, and you don't want to do that. He's on a very tight line, bottom of the hill, 2430, trying to go around the outside, inside for the carousel.
Oh. You're having a good time out there. Always a good time here in the ChampCar Enduro Series. Of course, ChampCar ponying up wonderful prizes for our drivers today and all season long. Got 200 champ bucks on the line for our winners today, and 200 champ bucks for every race of the Enduro Series for the overall winners, as well as 200 more for the season long winners. If you haven't looked at the points grid in a bit, our season-long leaders are leading this race today with 2 first-place finishes for them. And we do it golf style here, so 1 point for first place and low score wins on the season. And those two looking to make it 3 in a row, looking to make that final race a formality if they have their way. But the Young Guns once again take another second out of the leaders. So we'll see if those leaders are able to keep that position. Because Keegan Allen seems to have those eyes firmly pointed forwards. And Ryan Puchtel's having a little bit of lap traffic here as he tries to come around Nick Love, who does get out of the way, but Nick Love quick on track as well himself. Had a slow one last time by, but whew.
They made the driver change last stop, Devon.
That's what does it. Nick Love 4 caught me out, and I believe we've established that's Papa Love. And I'm pretty sure that's what they call him. Yeah. I'd accept it if it was Brother Love.
Philadelphia? I tell you, I see a dry racing line beginning to form just in the last 3 laps. I'm starting to see a dry racing line. Aaron Myers is beginning to see a way past Kyle Robertson. Ryan Pucktel lost a little bit of time with that traffic as we described. But now it's going to be Young Guns, Keegan Allen's turn to have to do similar. There's some parts on the track though where there is no dry line, but one's down the straight here now.
Yeah, drier. It is a track that has very nice grading everywhere. It must be said. It's got a nice crown to the road, and it seems to shed water nicely. Albeit
Backflip boys have been off.
Ooh.
The drive trainer and chasing the Delta get a little bit closer. Young Guns did seem like they got through the traffic, but it was breaking down into turn 5 here for Alex Coffard. I think he's all by himself and he just gets it a little bit too ambitious. Oh yeah, and once you're, you know, half a mile an hour too quick, you know it, and you're just sailing on past all of your markers, each one successively just a little bit quicker than you like, and the corner's approaching you.
Yeah, I think that was one part, a little bit of extra draft, and another part, a little bit of the same braking zone as before, catching them out.
Please keep your arms and legs inside the carousel. The rest of the field get through with no dramas there.
3, 4, 5. Still battling here. And that's drive trainer Carbon following the Porsche of Alex Coffard with with Chasing the Delta Academy's Porsche in 5th. And after quick laps themselves, SimCity's Ryan Pucktel still seeming to struggle a bit in these conditions. Lead at the front now down to 3.7 seconds as they come to the line. And he finally seems to find something, a 2:35.7 at the line that time. And a 2:35.5 from the Young Guns behind.
We're in a real pace plateau with this track. 2:35s is what everyone's kind of doing. Pucktel finds that pace, Allen that pace.
Starting to believe you though. It more and more it is starting to seem like just maybe a dry patch starting to appear. Certainly not enough where a person could strap on the dries, but enough where a person could start to think about it. With the crossover starting to be on the minds, 3 laps could a person go early, and 5?
So after they're off track, Backflip boys are just getting away from this. Kyle Robertson. Oh no, that is wide. That's the grass. That gets your tyres so wet and cold. And then Aaron Myers thinks he can get ahead. Has to go a bit wide at the left here. He gets a good exit. He's going to get this spot, this 4th place, into the carousel. Any hint of a dry line here? Tiny bit. Spray is way less than it was even 30 minutes ago, but there's still a fair bit of it.
Yeah, the kink looks borderline dry.
Or they're just not going fast enough to make.
Yeah, they're going slow, but it's definitely lessened. Canada corner is still treacherous, but the curb on the exit may be a little bit more available than it was before. Cofford's gone and tried it, and he's dragged a bunch of dirt onto the track for all these guys. Kyle Robertson doesn't brave the curb, but the Chasing the Delta Academy Porsche does up ahead.
The race leader Ryan Puchtel does a 2-minute 36 flat. Keegan Allen does a 2:35.6, takes another 4/10 out. Race lead down to 3.2 seconds. At one point, as high as 7. Interesting to see that happen. No rapid track evolution happening though. No lap times tumbling drastically just yet.
David Haynes, if anything, the track has somehow gotten to 58 degrees Fahrenheit. It's gone down in temperature. So the overcast day we're having here, not helping anyone in the drying the track out business.
Yeah, overcast is what it says. So I think there's overcast, mostly cloudy, partly cloudy, and clear. So, yeah, overcast.
Watching Keegan Allen now as he slices and dices through the middle section of the track. And yeah, starting to really take chunks on this lap out of Ryan Puchtel, up about a half a second on the last one. And Puchtel just seeming really uncomfortable at this phase of the race. I don't know if it's little mistakes creeping in or if it's what it is exactly, but Keegan just gently feeding the throttle in. And I see shadows on the back straight. Hole in the cloud cover. And it's positively sunny up here in Canada.
Yeah, it is. Make me one of those pairs of glasses so that I don't go snowblind.
You know, everyone was all worried about the F1 cars having a single beam in the middle of their vision. Meanwhile, up here, we've been doing the filtered lenses horizontally for years, just to keep the reflection off of the lights. Interesting to see both drivers opting to stay on the right side of the track, maybe in the wet, keeping the tires cool. So both drivers already thinking a little bit about how they're going to manage these tires. But that is positively a dry line on the front straight there.
Aaron Myers is in his element, so we covered off the battle of him versus Kyle Robertson, and now he's looking for third place versus Alex Coffard. Backflip Boys were one of the first cars to stop strategically 17 laps ago, only 10 laps ago for Aaron Myers. Gee, that hardly looks... No spray, sun's out. What's happening at turn 5? But it's still wet in the curb. Spray up the top of the hill underneath the bridge. Aaron Myers is making the most of it. All of the apex curb, but none of the exit curb towards Hurry Downs. So much balance of input in this long corner. You see the brake lights almost sort of flashing on and off as they just sort of trail 5% brake on the way in. And then try to pick up a little bit of speed on the exit before you immediately need to stop again. Myers sets himself for a really late apex, exiting the bend complex. For this straight between the trees Little weave to the right and then the left. Tiny change to the left just as you brake into Canada corner. Dry line on the way in, but no dry line in the middle of the corner. Puddles mostly disappearing. Wide from Kyle Robertson behind them. Final corner, where's the traction? Well, it's to pit lane for Coffard. Is he going to be the first driver and the first team to slick tyres, mayhaps? Drivetrain Motorsports' Kyle Robertson follows him in. Only just 11 laps into the stint for DTM Carbon. The track's still drying off, a dry line emerging, but they've reached the plateau of speed that the wet tyres can give them. So does that mean it's time? The weather moves from overcast to mostly cloudy. The Backflip boys are getting a tyre change. Drivetrainer Motorsports are getting a tyre change. They've come in early. The fuel could have taken them longer, but they are in because Drivetrainer Motorsports are going to a pair of slicks on the Mustang. Backflip boys, it still says wets for me.
Well, they did stop early the first time around, but I'm wondering if maybe they got caught out by the same bug we've seen a few drivers hit, grabbing the wrong set of tires in the GT4s. I'm not sure if it's a bug or if it's user error at this point, but we have heard it reported a few times this season.
Well, if enough users make the error eventually, it's just a bug. So how tough is this going to be? Still Kyle Robertson. So no driver change there for either team. Coffard stays in.
Interesting.
Robertson stays in.
About 40 minutes to the end of the window could also be a factor for both of these teams. Thinking, hey, let's get one more stop in.
This is the shrinking gap at the lead of the race. Keegan Allen has closed down Ryan Puchtel from 8 seconds to just 1.5 now. Puchtel went wide at Canada corner. He didn't drag all of that gravel back on, but he didn't get to the apex he would have liked. Pushed himself out wide onto the wet curb where some water still remains. Even if most of it's not on the pavement, it's still in the grass, in the curbs, and on some of the painted lines. We do not pit entry for either of these.
I'm watching Kyle Robertson closely, and it's not there yet in the sectors, but it's not far. And I think everyone's team will be looking at the live timing, maybe even the live timing at hjbc.live to see what that car's doing.
Yeah, one of the things I look for is actually the straight line speed, because the slick tyres have got less rolling resistance. You end up going, 2 or 3 miles an hour faster at the end of the straight. Ryan Puchtel's looking for wet parts of the racetrack. Keegan Allen's not as excited about it.
And Kyle
DTM
Robertson in the drive-timer car has put it in the gravel at Canada corner. Not badly, but I wondered how Canada corner was going to go on that first out lap.
He had set a new speed record at 246 kilometers an hour, but then you need to be able to stop that. He just needed to brake 50 feet earlier, I think. Yeah.
And that was 153 miles an hour. But like I was saying, not far off. Meanwhile, we're still seeing purple sectors up at the front of the field. I was chasing the Delta Academy going purple in Sector 2 last time by. And No rain, still a wet track. And at the front of the field, still seeing Ryan Puckdell trying to nurse those wet tires by staying off the racing line down the back straight.
So the wind is still high. The sun is starting to peek through the clouds a tiny bit more. There's still some water sitting on the racetrack. And we are about to get our first flying laps from Backflip Boys and Drive Trainer Motorsports post their pit stops. Big difference between the side of the road that SimCity Racing and Young Guns are on versus the other side of the road. Here's Backflip Boys. Not seeing oodles and oodles of straight line speed out of that car like we are from the Mustang.
And it's positively sunny out there all of a sudden. The clouds have broken and
the headlights just came off.
And the headlights came off. Yeah, you're right. And that Mustang is starting to move really quick down the long straights in the first part of the track, as we'd expect.
I think the information's trickling through because the other Drive Trainer Motorsports car, Emerald, heads to the pit lane. So they might have heard from the other side of the garage. This is working. The Delta says, muy bien.
And Cofford in the Backflip Boys is desperately searching for water, diving over the curbs into the grass, not finding it. And Kyle Robertson is going to come and put some kind of lap down here as he crosses the line.
I wonder if that was just the end of the fuel from the Backflip Boys, because they stopped early the first time, didn't take a full tank. Maybe 18 laps is all they could do, and they were right at this sort of do we, don't we on the tyres. And they might have got the tyres that they wanted, but weren't completely sure about them. Drive Trainer Motorsports find another pair of slick tyres to whack on the BMW.
And for good reason, because Kyle Robertson's just got to put a 2:32.8 on the board. And I think the other teams are going to have to take notice of that.
I think that did move the needle on the fastest lap of the race from a 2-minute 34.8 to a 2-minute 32.8. The Geiger counter went from 0 to 100 on that one as the needle moved 2 seconds in one lap.
And now it's the cars shod in wet tires that are squirming and wiggling all over the track that has rapidly dried as they are trying to get those cars back around the final corner. And you got to think to the pit lane this time, and sure enough, SimCity Racing doesn't go, decides inside line down the straightaway. And Keegan Allen in the Young Guns is going to hit the lane this time. And with an hour 32 left to go, I got to think that there is some pit strategy going on in the Ryan Puckdell piloted SimCity Racing car, because the lap times don't bear that strategy out. They're thinking maybe they can do one less if they run it 10 more minutes, 5 more minutes, but I don't know if they can with the differential.
Yeah, you're counting back, and I think if you're seeing the lap times coming from the slick tyres, the reason you'd stay out is if you go, I can cut a pit stop by going 1 or 2 laps longer here, but soon it's going to net very little benefit at all. Both Drive Trainer cars have gone to slicks. 2430 have gone to slicks. Young Guns are fitting slicks. Ron Wolf is getting the best cooling that he can get on his tyres.
Yeah, and I wonder if Wolf's doing some of the same math. The other thing is do we know if gotta look. Is the teammate connected? And we're watching Wolf do some churning around here. And is Marc-Andre Garand connected to the session? I can't tell right now.
So what I'll be interested to see is when Kyle Robertson catches Kevin Collins in what must be about half a lap with the kind of pace that the Mustang's going down to 2:29. Like, how hard is it going to be to pass? Because at the moment, if he's flying like that, he'll just wait for a straight line and, you know, afterburners zip by them.
Yeah, he's going to need that. Skywalker Racing within spitting distance of the young guns on track after that stop, but going to see them quickly slip off into the distance with the difference in tires. And sudden change on the racing surface. Sudden change on track. In the complexion of this race. And Pucktail coming through the final corner. We'll see on our timing screens if he can bear to go one more lap, and he can't. That's the pit lane for our race leaders, but is it too late for Ryan Pucktail and the SimCity Academy boys? SimCity Racing boys. Aaron Myers is going to stay out, though, on the lap on the wets.
The undercut's ferocious right now from Kyle Robertson, isn't it? Going 5 seconds a lap quicker and more. Yeah, chasing the Delta, stay out.
Yeah, the clouds have broken and the dam has broken by the looks of things.
Balthazar have just gotten themselves some slick tyres too. SimCity Racing get their driver change, Marc-Andre Garon, and a set of slick tyres on the number 71 Porsche Cayman.
Now, at an hour 30 remaining, you do have to wonder if, you know, is that a point where you could fuel save and, you know, get it done in 2?
You feeling a new fastest lap of the race right here?
Oh, I think there's one coming. Oh, the young guns are facing the wrong way.
No, I don't.
Oh, they're moving quick.
For young guns on those slick tyres, they've hit a wet curb, I think. No tyre temperature, looped it around. My goodness, no, it's the apex. Yeah.
Second to last turn, they get wide and they get all 4 off and maybe get things a little wet. And then the curb in the last corner was enough to do him in, facing the wrong way. And Marc-Andre Grand has rejoined the track with nary 5.5 seconds between himself and Kyle Robertson, who is rapidly approaching on hot, dry tires.
Here comes everyone else. So Backflip boys are back in. It is slick tyres for them now. Giovanni Romano into huge ass and gets the slick tyres. Skywalker Racing, Kevin Collins gets some slicks. Here comes Project Save the Stang. Logan Sennhauser hasn't stopped yet. He's still on the wet tyres.
And this is a bit of a disaster for Alex Buehler and the Backflip boys as they rejoin the track. An extra stop, only going 4 laps on those wet tires before they had to hit the lane one more time. And I think it was just fuel. Was not enough fuel left in those cars, because we're seeing 18-19 laps seems to kind of be the limit, and they were right at 18 when they stopped the second time. So the early first stop cost them. Gio Romano looking racy in that Mustang, 3rd place on the track, and coming up quickly on Logan Sennhauser, who is a lap down at this point in the Project Save the Stang mobile.
No, he's not.
He's not, sorry. Misreading the board there. But Gio coming up quickly.
You apologise right now, Devin.
Sorry, Gio.
No, sorry, Logan Sennhauser.
Nah, that too. But, you know, Gio's Canadian, so I figure I just cover my bases.
Oh, we're trying to build community here, Devin, and you're besmirching the good names of our teams and drivers. Romano, even with relatively cold slick tyres, has just got oodles more lateral grip to use at the moment. Does he have more traction out of the corners? That's... Yes, he does. That's the difference, and he gets the dry side of the track too.
And Marc-Andre is coming across the line and into first place, while these two are going too wide down towards Canada corner. Ooh. And with 2 tires in the dry, he's got enough grip to keep it on the track. Does Gio. With all these cars driving around, the track temperature still has not budged. I'm starting to question the placement of that track temperature probe at this point, because it certainly seems to be drying up out there, getting warmer on the track. Lincoln Fox is facing the wrong way in the Delta Academy car on the exit of 1. Oh, we'll see. Comes out of the pit lane and the cold tires bite. Maybe that's the puddle at the apex of 1. Either way, that thing gets faced the wrong way, and Lincoln will carry on without any damage, but it's a real slow turnaround from the Chasing the Delta Academy car, who's now lapping in 4th place after a late stop and a tough turnaround.
Oh, geez, indeed. So SimCity Racing back into the lead, just 2 seconds ahead of Kyle Robertson, who's still charging with all that temperature and confidence that he's got. This is 1st and 2nd in the beautiful Sunshine Bend. And then Young Guns have been around. Chasing the Delta Academy have been around. And so 3rd and 4th place are quite a distance now behind our competing race leaders here. Giovanni Romano getting into the huge ass car in 5th place. Project Save the Stang still are going to need another pit stop. They're still on wet tyres and not making particularly great time.
Yeah, 2:33 last time by for them. Rest of the field's down in the 2:20s. And the leads of the race trade in green and purple sectors, with Carbon still having a bit of an edge. It'll be 1.4 this time at the line, and 1 second faster than the leader for Kyle Robertson. 1.3 even.
And that's a new track record. Kyle Robertson has a 225.1. So gone are the days of 235s. We're in a brave new world of slick tyres, a narrow dry line, and the pace really, really picking up right now.
There are a few places where the line has even gotten to too wide, and I think I'd attribute to it to the track temp. It's 61 Fahrenheit all of a sudden on the track. Wow, David Haynes.
Practically boiling off the moisture.
Mm-hmm.
Project Save the Stanger in, so Logan Sennhauser is going to find a set of slick tyres for the number 9 Sennhauser Racing Team Mustang.
Responsibly staying in the fast lane as he comes down pit lane.
Look at the tail lights.
Mm-hmm. Very Mustang.
The Australian market Ford Mustangs don't do that.
Oh, bummer. He overshoots the pit lane. They got some sort of laws preventing you from having nice free rain tail lights, signal lights there.
Yep. What we have is 2 vertical red ones and a vertical orange one.
Meanwhile, the battle at the front is getting closer and closer, now under a second, 0.8 at the trap, as Kyle Robertson continues to drive up onto the back of Marc-Andre Gouron, who's now piloting the SimCity Racing car in the lead. And they're both setting their fastest sectors of the race, but Kyle seems to have just a little bit more. There will be a monkey wrench, though, in this plan, though, for the drive trainer guys, I got to say, because in about 20 minutes' time here, Kyle's going to have to get out of the car, and we'll see what they're able to put in for the second driver. I think on the forum, you'd be expecting who's drive trainer motorsports second. There, it's Kyle Schuck to take the wheel. It'll be a bit of an awkward pit stop. Means that they've got 2 more to go. I think Marc-Andre will have 2 more as well, though. 224. First one down into the 24s is Kyle Robertson, continuing the streak that I think started in the 39s. They've been chopping down the lap records like a bunch of lumberjacks out there today. I think they are maybe doing some drive training there on that team, David Haynes.
Oh, wow. Giovanni Romano up into fourth and with a new fastest lap of the race. The huge ass Mustang is coming. All of the Mustangs are moving now that the sun's out. The ponies can prance. Carl Robertson just 0.6 of a second behind the race lead here.
Unfortunately for Gio, he's 45 seconds back of the lead, but taking little bites out of it at this point.
We'll still see more evolution to come from this track because they're going over the curbs, kicking up a tiny bit of spray. Some other places, there's still more improvement to be had. But here, you got little puffs in the shade of the trees. Don't ask me what type of trees. I only know what eucalyptus looks like. I'm a koala.
Oh, and I don't know if I have an answer for that, David Haynes. I'm just getting kind of excited about this race here at the front.
There's one thing that some koalas have that I don't have, though, so don't read too much into it. 0.3 of a second, the Mustang in the slipstream, and now that we're all on slick tyres on a drying track, there is slipstream to be had. Carl Robertson is going, honestly, 5 miles an hour quicker down the end of the straights than he was earlier on in the race, and he's setting a new fastest lap of the race, so he'll trade that one back and forth to Giovanni Romano for a while, you would think.
First one down in the 23s.
Exiting turn 3, gets a good run. We're battling back here, Love Racing and Balthazar. Nick Love 3, the son is back. As Taylor Swift said, this love is alive back from the dead.
Modern poet, you know. Kyle Robertson putting some pressure on Marc-Andre, and critically for both of them, I think a little bit of lap traffic up ahead. Jack Simpson in the 24:30 and Cameron Senhauser in the Save the Stang might become factors here as the two leaders are fast approaching. Both just freshly onto dry tires.
That's out. That's wide. Oh, back on the track. In the carousel comes Project Save the Stang. The race leaders dive down the inside, so he might have found a wet patch. No temperature in his tyres, gone wide. 24:30 are up into 9th. And the leaders have also gone past Cameron Senhauser.
Yeah, that's a dirty corner now. Two of them will now be chasing down Jack Simpson. He'll be the first Canadian to go a lap down when they get there. But it's Canadian on Canadian, so, you know, it's okay.
Don't know what the opposite of elbows up is.
Sorry.
Well, it'd be very Midwest to, you know, oh, can I scooch by? Which is what he might need.
We'll see if Carney sent any team orders down the pipe. Oh, what a moment there. And that was a big moment. That's going to cost Pucto the lead, or sorry, Marc-Andre the lead, as he finds the puddle at turn 1 and does well to catch it, honestly, with how sideways he got that thing.
Too much apex curb, big wiggle. Then walked it out wide, trying to save the slide. Kyle Robertson goes back to the lead of the race, a place where the Drivetrainer Motorsports Carbon Mustang was for the first half hour or so. They were one of the first to brave slip tyres, and I feel like they've been rewarded for that decision as well.
Interesting stuff. And that is a really significant pass, but and the clouds have just come back in. Nothing on the radar here, but spooky when the clouds go that thick, that dark, that fast. But a significant pass for the championship, not just for the race, because if SimCity can close this one out with a W, it's almost unimaginable that they wouldn't be able to hold on to a top 3 finish and take a win in the final championship race. But if Kyle Robertson and the Carbon Boys can hold on to this, that sets up a showdown in the final round.
So 13 cars out on track, and the only one without slick tyres is Andrew Kosick, but he's just going to hit the pit lane right now. Oh no, Marc-Andre Garon's gone wide at the top of the hill, run through the grass, put a bit of more water under those tyres. I think Kyle Robertson will end up with a bit more of a race lead.
Garon and Pacto both seem to be really comfortable running the exits of the corners over the curb and taking a little chunk of dirt. And it came back to bite both of them, I think, a couple times so far. Oh, and Garon runs wide again. Maybe just a little understeer in that car. Either way, that opens things up a bit. A minute or a 1.2 second lead now for Drive Trainer Motorsports. And while these two have been faffing about a little bit, Gio Romano continues to take chunks of time out of them. Half a second last lap. Unfortunately, he's going to need a little bit of help from the safety car, I think, to get back in the picture here. And the young guns, Keegan Allen, running his own race, 24.8 last time by.
I'd say not necessarily. Okay, think about that. Romano stopped 4 laps later than the race leaders did. 4 laps of Road America is 16 miles. Now, it's not quite as far as the Proclaimers would walk, but it's still, a lap here is a big lap. There is a hefty chunk more fuel for Romano. They could try to take the 337 Mustang to 1 stop fewer than the leaders, and it's also a big pit lane here. It's an expensive pit road transit compared to some other tracks, certainly compared to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park or even Silverstone or some others like that. So they could still strategize their way. I think they could race their way to the podium, and they could still strategize their way to the win.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think they're on the same pit stop lap as second place though, SimCity Racing. So they won't get an advantage on those guys if this does become a fuel race towards the end here. So either way, we'll have to keep an eye on it. If Drive Trainer Motorsports Carbon is on the wrong fuel strategy, then SimCity Racing would presumably still have the 40-second advantage on track. Unless the Mustang's that much more fuel efficient than the Porsche. But we'll just have to see. That's why we make them do the races, Haynes. 71 more minutes.
At least in the wet, it seemed like the Porsches went longer, but you don't know what was tactical, because a lot of tactical things were happening in the first 2 pit stops of this race. Seems like Backflip Boys pitting early, a couple of others deliberately pitting early, and then the next run was truncated a little bit as we all decided that slick tyres were the thing to have, and indeed they are, as the fastest lap of the race keeps tumbling.
And Gio Romano breaks the streak. First one into the 222s after the Drive Trainer Motorsports boys had had the honors, I think everything from 39 down to 23. There are no slouches there out front, though. It did lose a little bit to the SimCity Racing boys last time. About 4/10 came out of their lead.
Jared Collins is back in the Skywalker Racing BMW, and he is catching Drivetrainer Motorsports Emerald. Something fierce. 4 seconds last lap is outrageous. Yeah, and more in that braking zone at turn 3. This feels like a formal inevitability almost. Got to give some respect to the lap times that Jared Collins is doing here. I think he's third fastest car on track at the moment, just behind those 2 Mustangs.
Yeah, Jared seems to be the hot shoe on that team, and he's going to dive it up the inside with confidence. Nicely hooks the curb on the inside of 5, and that's exactly how you want it to look when you're going through there.
It's a stopwatch watching game at the moment. Kyle Robertson doesn't move the margin, so he's 2/10 slower than he was the previous lap. And then you wait for Romano to come around 40 seconds later and see if he also can reset the fastest lap of the race. He's just exiting Canada corner right now. Do you see any spray from the tarmac? It's just the curbs, really.
Yeah, unless they really go looking for it. I'm not seeing much at all. I did see the young guns living very close to the edge on the straightaway and managing to find some water on the white paint on the left-hand side of the straight, but that was about it.
So the limbo pole is at 222.9, but Romano can't get underneath that. 223.2.
Very respectable, still 3/10 faster than the leaders. But the leaders are getting close together again, as we've got another little bit of lap traffic up ahead. This will be Kyle Robertson trying to find his way around Nick Love III and Bill Woods, who are on different laps, I believe, unless Love's had a little issue. You know what? Love has had a little issue. Oh, Love might be in for a big issue, as Kyle Robertson gets right to the rear bumper into the kink. I think he's singing the Blue Flag song up there.
Yeah. Race leader by at Canada corner. Marc-Andre Garon's not going to want to hang around too much longer, as evidenced by, I don't know, the headlight flashes in effect. Yeah, final corner. Everyone's taking different lines here. They're turning in from much later for the final corner than they were on the wet track. It's comfortable to use a little bit more of the runoff. Slipstream and then side draft for Marc-Andre Garon, who's back within 1 second of the race lead. SimCity Racing getting back on pace.
Yeah, plenty of slipstream. Even if he kind of caught him awkwardly through Canada corner there, it was a nice little benefit to have that much slipstream coming down the front straight. Kyle Robertson's going to get the benefit of the better slipstream on this straightaway. And maybe the easier pass down into turn 5. And a little bit of help goes a long way. And we see that here. And Marc-Andre is going to make the dive as well, and things have well and truly closed up between those two. Bill Wood's going to hold on for dear life with Nick Love right up behind him now, as those two battle over 11th and 12th on the track.
I love how, when it's a Canadian's name, I never have any idea how much like French accent you're going to put on it. Sometimes lots, other times looks like a French name to me, and you give it none. So I just never know. how much mayonnaise Devin Peters is gonna give.
For a peek behind the scenes, I've got going through my second pack of Fisherman's Friends today, and when you got the Fisherman's Friend in the mouth, it's really hard to roll the R, but when it's not there, you can lean into it, you know.
Like our man Hillier, who you turned into Hiller, but you know.
That's hard with the font, seeing all the letters, you know.
Next thing they'll be going and turning Jean-Jacques Francois Jacques Jean into JJ Frankie.
JJ Frankie JJ. That's the only thing you could call him, really.
Well, you can call him the beautiful man.
You could call him Big Sexy. Oh, no, wait, that's someone else.
It's on for Balthazar and Love Racing now that the leaders have gone through. Bill Woods has been just a tiny bit wide the final corner. Nick Love has got his dancing shoes on here. He's got just a tiny scuff on the front of his car as we run down the front straight, both of them trying to find the full width of the dry track. You don't want to be braking on any wet parts, turning in on any wet parts into turn one. Right up against the curb for Love is a bit slippery, so Bill Woods straight around the outside. That tends to suggest there's still a bit of water hiding in places around about the place.
Yeah, there is also the old thing where, you know, if you're wide, you can brake later. And I think Bill Woods might have braked a little later and a little less, and was able to keep it on the track. But it's hard-fought racing in first and second, and hard-fought racing in 11th and 12th. It's a good time out here in the ChampCar world.
Now, could I interest you in the new fastest lap of the race?
Oh, from who?
Giovanni Romano, or as I'm calling him, Giovanni Romano.
I think that's an Italian name. I don't think that.
Yeah, I know.
It's you know.
But plenty of Italians in Montreal, though.
Oh yes, yeah. I have visited and seen them. Tight shirts and muscle bound, walking around. That's how people describe Giovanni Romano. Anyways, no one knows for sure.
So this is our race leaders now, 14 and 10 laps since they last pitted. Longest fuel stint that I think I've seen anyone do in the wet was 19 laps. So we'll see what it looks like with slick tyres for Kyle Robertson.
Yeah, crucially for Marc-Andre, if he's sitting there in second place, he is going to be picking up a little bit of draft. And so I do wonder if there's a strategic element now that things have shaken themselves out. You would like to, and Kyle hits the lane. And he's coming up on the drive time, and I think he's decided it is time.
True, I didn't think about that.
Kyle to hit the driver's seat and take him home. Kyle Shuck getting in. We'll see them trundle down the pit lane while the battle for 11th still rages on. Nick Love pushing for everything he's worth here. But the two of these guys are very evenly matched on speed. Both long-time racers with the series. I think Nick Love's been here since the very first season. Far we've come. And now Marc-Andre, without anyone in the vicinity, is going to see what his pace looks like. Just up the road from those two. And coming out.
The calculation says 25 laps to go. There's obviously still an hour to go, so that is not going to be the final pit stop for Drivetrainer Motorsports Carbon as Kyle Shuck gets in.
25 is a very interesting number, David Haynes, because that would mean that if Gio and Marc-Andre take their stops on lap 18, they would have 18 to go. So both of them could potentially be fueled to the end, but if the burn rate is a little bit higher when you're racing all out in the dry, and you can only make 17, then you could be in some troubles. And of course, that then neglects the possibility of someone managing to drive themselves into a wall and write a car off tonight. So there's all kinds of factors at play.
What's the worst damage you've ever put on a road car? You ever like reversed into a garage door or a post or something?
I had assistance in completely removing the rear quarter panel and bumper from a Ford Festiva. As I was making a left-hand turn, the oncoming driver said, "Hey, I hate that rear bumper of yours, and I'm just going to take it right off." And
comes Nick Love past Bill Woods towards turn 1. Now, we've seen Woods hold his ground around the outside here before. He brakes just a little bit earlier. But then, again, just straight round the outside.
So tough. Nick Love, when he takes that inside line, seems to really struggle because he's in the wet for so long, and the tires, I think, lose a little temp. It's just a hard move to make up the inside right now.
I reversed into a parked car at very low speed because I wasn't used to a car being parked there on the street. And then the owner of that car was like, no, my car was only there because it had broken down earlier and it's on its way to get junked. I was like, okay, so don't need to worry about your car. Only need to worry about my parents' car that I reversed into it with. And then like a week later, a wheel came off at someone else's trailer and obliterated the rear bumper of my parents' car, and their insurance replaced it. So no money out of pocket, no harm done.
Don't look now, but at the front of the field, Marc-Andre has gone and run a 224 last time by, while Gio runs a 222.5. And so I wonder if the fuel-saving finger calculators are out and people are flipping the abacuses around and trying to sort out what kind of fuel run they're going to need to the end here.
Maybe he mates for life like an emperor penguin, and now that he's lost Kyle Robertson, he's lost his fire and his flame. Oh no, he's off wide. So he's still got cold slick tyres. He's only just gotten in. A lot of pressure on him from Alexander Bueller and the backflip boys. And underneath the Corvette bridge, he's pushed wide. We've taken even more temperature out of those slicks, and we'll need to be just a little more careful.
Yeah, luckily this is a simulator. Otherwise, you'd be cleaning mud out of the underside of that thing for days. But I am curious to see if what the pace actually looks like. Marc-Andre goes and runs a 23.5 this time by. I'm curious to see what the pace looks like, because he's had a drafting partner this whole time, and that car hasn't looked like it's handling as well as other folks around here. Gio's still taking a second a lap out of the leader if things keep up. And the young guns might be in the picture too. A 23.4 last time by, 10th faster than the guys ahead. It's a good thing I'm just a commentator, can't do math, but a 222.5 for Gio is another quick one.
Yeah, it would have been the fastest lap of the race, but he's been off track somewhere, hasn't he? So he's still coming from about 50 seconds behind the race lead to now 40 and still closing.
Well, and I did get a report earlier that the huge-ass guys were struggling with the pit stop, and that contributed a little bit to their time. I guess when they were trying to do the driver swap, they could remove the driver, but they couldn't have the other driver click on the button to get in the car until after the stop was completed. And so that caused them a bit of a delay on the stop. And Yeah, at the very least, it was disconcerting. I'm not sure it added a lot of time to the stop. The timer was seemingly running in the background, but definitely a lot of extra stress for them on the alt laps. In a way, drama still remains with 55 minutes on the clock now.
Yeah, track temp's finally climbed up a little bit as well as this has been going on. Garon 223.
Yep, 223.4, but that does seem kind of to be the max pace for those guys up front. Whereas Gio's just comfortable at the 222.5 kind of range, 222.6 this time by. And they're on similar fuel levels, we have to think. Maybe this is just more of a Mustang track, you know? Got those big wide open freeways. Practically hear the I Can't Drive 55 blasting over the PA.
Yeah, this is the Kentucky Derby of motor racing.
I said it off the top, didn't I? Just the National Park of Speed of America.
Jack Collins is pushing on, and it's caused him to catch up towards Drivetrainer Motorsports' Carl Shook.
Yeah, Collins still got plenty of pace in that BMW there. And the drivetrainer car that was so promising at the front has fallen off a little bit in the second part of the race here. Really illustrating, the value of practicing in the ChampCar series on the track. You see guys spend hours and hours in the garage trying to find an extra tenth. Maybe a few extra weekends in the simulator would find you an extra tenth. Colin's gonna try and make a move around the outside of the carousel here. We'll see if it works. A couple whispers of wet outside there. It's a hard move to make. But Colin's gonna try and make it stick into the kink here. The inside line, pretty good place to be. And Collins will not quite have enough to close the door, but will have enough to roll the exit and take the spot. Nicely done for sixth place there.
So we've got that other drivetrainer car and Young Guns is maybe the next that we're going to see stop in 2 or 3 laps time.
I think our leaders might be about 3 laps away from a stop too.
Yeah.
And like we've been saying, it will be really curious to see what the fuel situation is for these folks. And trying to get a sense of what people are doing, if there is any fuel saving going on. Haven't heard a lot at this phase. 4th place, chasing the Delta Academy car is back facing the right way after that early incident from Fox after the pit stop. Minute 15 off the lead of the race and feeling comfortable. the backflip boys running in 5th. It's Alex Bueller in the car now. He's the one that doesn't backflip, from what I understand. But they're both running that Hot Wheels livery car quite well. Behind Jared Collins in the Skywalker racing car. Showing some pace as Collins. He might have something to say yet for the top 5 with Kyle Shuck in that Drive Trainer Carbon car running in 7th. And then LaShawn Dilworth, young Dilworth, is in the other Drive Trainer car, the Emerald Mobile. And first car a lap down is Cameron Semenhauser in the Save the Stang Mobile. Emphasis on first, of the lap down cars. Doing pretty good. A little bit off schedule in the pit stops with the others. And in 10th, we've got 2430 Esports, Jack Simpson, Canadian, running that Porsche here on the final stints. You got to think he'll be taking that one to the end of the race. Balthazar Motorworks, Bill Woods in the red car, still managing to hold off the likes of Love Racing, 647 in the blue. The two of them have been battling back and forth, but settled for the moment. We do actually have a car running into 13th place. Andy Kosick decided he didn't want to drive in the rain, and so he joined the race a little bit late. Teammate fell ill, and he said, well, heck, I'm going to get this minty automobile out here anyways. And he's driving that Porsche 718 around, and if he manages to complete more than 50% of the laps, that's one of the requirements, he'll be able to upgrade the finishes of that number 13 car, our number 50 car, who's running in 13th place. They finished 14th at VIR. And the 13th place finish here, while last among the qualified finishers, would technically be an improvement in the point standings there. And if it leads to a victory, it would be very satisfying for him, gotta think. Checking back in with Gio, he's now broken the 40-second barrier. He's down to 38 seconds back from the leader. Critically still running fast laps of 2:22.493 last time by. And that's
more than a second on the young guns as well. So you can compare them to the race leader, but also to compare them to second place.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that occurs to me with 40 seconds between the two of them is you could be in a world where Gio's far enough back that he's going to run one less lap overall, and that manages to make the fuel window work for him and not work for Marc-Andre. It would be a tricky little move, but it's a game of inches out there, even at a big circuit like this one. Keegan Allen in the Young Guns, lap 18 at the line there, so he's clearly got enough fuel to keep it going. So maybe all our fuel math won't matter after all. We'll have to see if he's got another lap in that thing.
He was a bit wide at turn 5. 2430 Esports are in. They were another one of those teams we thought was going to be one of the first that we could see. That thing's a little bit dented with, for Jack Simpson and Sebastian Day.
My calculator's estimating around 19 laps remaining, not factoring in any pit stops. So I gotta think that these guys will get it to the end on just one more. But Gio is really pushing for that next part of the podium.
Drivetrainer Motorsport Emerald, the BMW in. They've just completed 19 laps, and for SimCity Racing, when they cross the line, there'll be 19 to go. So that seems achievable for the number 6 car, as Marc-Andre Garon and SimCity Racing stay out for one more. So this will bring them onto their 19th lap with 18 to go.
Mm-hmm. The question will be this Young Guns car, who has taken the stop with... This would be their 19th lap as they cross the line, so it looks like 19 is achievable.
The Backflip boys have also entered the... No, they've got a sort of slowdown penalty elsewhere out on track, as a handful of other cars ran for pit entry. So Balthasar Motorworks and Love Racing also came in. Giovanni Romano stays out.
Yeah, I think Backflip boys, I'm not sure... Had a warning, I guess, for off tracks, maybe?
No, it's still a furled black flag slowdown from much, much earlier in the lap. Look how
Bueller giving it back.
Now it's a black flag. It's a drive-through penalty. They didn't clear the slowdown in time, but where did it come from?
I think it was at the kink. That's my best guess. It's in the dry. Oh, and you know what? They straight lined through the kink. And I'm not entirely sure what the why is there, but that's going to cost him.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm just seeing this. Wow. That must be like a 15-second slowdown because he's gone in just a tiny bit deep for the braking zone of the bend. Not even made an attempt to make the corner. Just straight lined it, floored the throttle. Gigantic slowdown penalty that he didn't give up in time. And it's a drive-through penalty for the Backflip boys. Yeah, Love Racing have one from the pit lane.
Has gotten one from the pit lane, yeah. This can be a bit of a tricky pit lane to really push to the limits if you're fighting for every last little tenth out of it.
So they had a driver swap. And sometimes the new driver gets in and they don't have the pit lane speed limiter engaged, and they speed on the way out of the pit lane after a driver swap. If that resets, or if they're not careful, or if they toggle the button or something. Leader comes in, SimCity Racing 71. With 43 minutes on the clock, you suspect that they're going to be all gravy to get home from here. So this will be their final stop in the 71.
That huge-ass Mustang is still pushing out on track. 222s consistently. And they're going to hit the lane this time too. Locking it in. And making sure that last pit stop is a good one.
So the stop's about halfway underway for Marc-Andre Garon here. Romano rolls down the lane. Still need a stop from chasing the Delta Academy. Got to serve the penalty for Bueller and the Backflip boys. Skywalker Racing also need a stop. But there goes Garon back into the race.
Gio's up on the jacks. Expecting about 20 more seconds of service from those guys. We'll see how the final stops compare here. Skywalker Motorsports has just gone and put themselves in the lane, following the Backflip boys, who are getting a driver swap in, maybe not. A little bit quicker on the fuel. No, just about the same actually, but 1 second quicker for Marc-Andre. And about 2 seconds quicker on the lane overall. I noticed Marc-Andre really nailed the entry in particular into the lane.
Lincoln Fox carries on onto their 19th lap, having stopped a little bit later. In fact, being one of the last cars to go from wet tyres to slicks has put them in this situation where they're going for some overcut. Ooh, that was just a tiny bit offline there. Through the ponderously slow change of direction in the bend. Long stop ongoing for the backflip boys, as it also has to serve the penalty and their pit service. So they've been there more than a minute and will be there for probably another 40 seconds. There goes Love Racing. Oh yeah, they had the pit exit speed penalty and are crawling along now to not get another one.
Yeah.
I think they might have
making sure.
No bind on the pit lane speed limit button there.
Oh, yeah, that is an important one to hit. And one of our final stops here, chasing the Delta Academy, hits the lane. That's Lincoln Fox getting into the pit lane. Driving at the limiter down this long pit lane. Plenty of room. It's kind of nice. Lincoln Fox, not about the fast lane. Slow lane.
Wider than the racetrack. 45 miles an hour.
Must have been wicked. I need to go look up some old footage of guys coming in with no speed limits on this thing, because I bet you they came in real hot back in the day.
Expect Fox will probably stay. Aaron Myers, I think, drove a double stint at the start of the race.
Sebastian Day has a bit of a time at Canada Corner. Catches him out. Drags some rocks and mud back out onto the track. No harm, other than to the stopwatch. But we'll see it here. I think that's just a little bit of, you get the hypnotized by the highway. Get hypnotized heading down into Canada Corner, and all those trees look the same, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, the corner's here. I've done that one a few times myself over the years.
So what you've got now is 38 minutes to the end. SimCity Racing lead 23 seconds from Drivetrainer Motorsports Carbon, who by all accounts are going to need another stop. So Young Guns behind them in third could end up being second, but they're only 6 seconds ahead of Huge Ass now. So this could be a battle for second place. Got Balthazar Motorworks 2 or maybe 3 laps down just in front here of Young Guns, where Cash Savage is back in. Keegan Allen drove a fair while. The inside of Canada Corner to get by, and just wide from Balthazar Motorworks. It's Romano driving with Ron Wolf. Probably be a new set of slicks on that Mustang post their most recent pit stop. So again, they'll take a tiny bit to bring in, not as much as new wet tyres on the very, very cold racetrack took at the start of this race almost 2.5 hours ago.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have a couple interesting battles here in the last 35 minutes. I kind of, as I look at the timing screen, I've got 7th and 8th place circled. The Backflip Boys, Skywalker, and Drivetrainer, as well as Project Save the Stang, all kind of in the same region of the track. I also think we're going to see the podium having some little fights between the Young Guns and Chio.
The racetrack is a bit further to the right there. Love Racing. Yikes. basically an unsafe rejoin. Ooh, not what Cameron Senhauser was looking for. He was just getting close to Drive Trainer Motorsports Emerald, but I think LaShawn Young-Dilworth has a tiny bit of pace compared to him, although it's been pretty close between the both of them. But it's pit stop time for them anyway, Cameron Senhauser. They got their pit lane limiter, and you know that because the headlight's flashing. So down towards the crew for their final stop. Gap shrinking here. Young Guns and Huge Ass, but there's a lapped car in between. For Romano, it's that Balthazar Motorworks car with Bill Woods. Out the final corner, Romano is looking good. So he might be able to clear by turn 1.
He's getting a nice little draft down the straightaway here. It's always a perk.
He's got a nice little lap time to go with it as well. He's by and gets basically 0.8 of a second on the Young Guns that lap as well, including going through the traffic on his way to set the new fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one to touch there.
Is there something satisfying about
4:44? Yeah.
Yeah.
that is a really viscerally appealing lap time.
2:22.
Yeah.
4:44. He's confident to use all of the pavement now. You would not have dared to go out there when the track was wet at the start of this race. You wouldn't have dared to touch that curb. But now he's like, yeah, I think I can use that. And do you know what? He can. It's now, it's gone from overcast to mostly cloudy to partly cloudy. The sun shines over Road America. It dries up all the rain. And Incy Spider comes out again.
And the Incy Spider goes and suns itself on the balmy 70-degree racetrack. That's what happens there.
Yeah, be careful. You'll get a tan.
Gotta make sure you put on your sunscreen, buddy. The gap, though, keeps coming down between those two. And these two are 3rd and 4th on track, but we're expecting that Mustang of Kyle Shuck to have to take a stop here before the end. Might be a short one, but it'll be enough to put it back to 5th place. Maybe 4th. We might get to see something between Delta Academy and Kyle Shuck. There's a very long pit lane, though, here, as we've mentioned a few times.
So Young Guns sandwiched in an interesting position, catching Drive Trainer, being caught by Huge Ass. Who finished 2nd last time, didn't they? Yes.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Weren't at Daytona, finished 2nd at VIR, heading maybe towards 2nd here. That'd give them a total of 4, which would put them very competitively placed going into the final race. Anything under 10 and you know you're a chance.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and after a really solid performance in the regular season, Puckdahl puts together this Enduro entry and is suddenly right at the pointy end of the field once again in the Endurance series. And yeah, you gotta say quality work to him. Bouncing back from what was a little bit of disappointment, I think, after not having enough to go and take 1st in the regular season.
Logan Senhauser has a slowdown. How's he done that here? Apex at turn 5?
We'll see it here. Or maybe not. Not sure.
No, before that.
I'm going to have an incident here. I think this is just running wide on the exit. I don't think that gets you to slow down. There is a slowdown available on the inside of 3 here if you really screw it up. I've done that one before. There's a reason to commentate. Yeah, again, just loose.
Oh, it's his entrance into 5.
Oh, yeah, you can't go wide enough there to earn it. You gotta get real wide. Yeah, but he did get real wide. Gotta stay a little bit on the track there, you know? Not a lot,
Yeah,
just a little.
Trying to let Lincoln Fox go. To learn that maybe pull to the inside and roll out earlier rather than try to pull off the track to the right-hand side there. Well, Romano has his target in sights. Cash Savage is just about a second and a half up the road as Romano moves the fastest lap of the race by another 0.5 of a second or so, 2:21.895. Big on 2:22.444.
That is a real quick one. That's I think the track's getting a little better here because that is speaking of big moments, that's a big moment there for the backflip boys. And what's happened there? Not entirely sure what we call that one.
Yeah. So at Kettle Bottoms, I think he was wide, too much speed through the gravel, spun it, bouncing back through the outfield and onto the racetrack. You can see second, third, fourth, all together here. Kyle Shook, Cash Savage, and Giovanni Romano. The accordion is happening.
Yeah. We're about to see some battling here, folks. As it tends to go in these races, things get tighter at the end. Now, two ends of the spectrum here. Gio, ironically, a driver with a ton of experience in the Porsche. Having done a few seasons in the Porsche Championship, I want to say. What was the name of that series?
Esports Sprint Challenge Canada or something.
Yeah. And he would have raced the 714 pretty extensively there. Knows its ins and outs quite well. Opted for the Mustang in this series. Cash, not as experienced as Gio, but you can't ever discount the power of youth and enthusiasm in a situation like this. 21.8, fastest lap of the race one more time for Gio that time by. And as the two boxers square each other up through turn number 3, we might have a little bit of a conflagration going underneath the Sargento Cheese Bridge there, Haynes.
Not sure a Cayman and a Mustang are in the same weight class. Romano jinks to the right. Savage half covers it and remains in front, and they both continue to get closer to drive trainer Carbon. From Romano's perspective, you can see that Mustang just ahead that runs wide at the top of the hill, and they're both closing him quickly.
And I wonder if both drivers in third and fourth here are aware of the offset and pit strategy. At the end of the day, the track position is going to be important for these two. But Cash is defensive. Yeah.
Bringing the nose of the car back around to that late apex in the carousel, positioning into braking at the bend here. a three-way drag race down to Canada Corner.
Usually you'd pick the Mustang for this sort of situation, but these GT4s, they got them all balanced out real nicely, and the big hole that the Mustang ahead punches might actually be a net benefit to Cash in the middle. And Cash has shown himself able to learn things quickly when overtaken, so we might see some of that too if Gio can get the move done. And they're going to be right on each other going into the first turn, I have a feeling this time.
Well, that HJ Stang has got legs in a straight line more than any other. Must have been set up for straight line speed in the drive. But Cash Savage has the slipstream to go to second on the inside of Kyle Shook. Drivetrainer Motorsports Carbon back in a third. Cash Savage is like, I'm going to move forward before someone tries to move me back. And it looks like Shook is going to, get done by the double. They both move ahead of him.
Gio saw that move was going to happen and then sort of wisely backed out and just followed Cash through and says, I only got to take you one at a time. So he's going to close back up. And this time Cash has learned something in his rearview mirrors, and he decides to take that really wide entry into 5. Barely touching the entry curb with the left side tires on that left-hand turn. And we'll have a little bit of lap traffic here to contend with as well. That's Nick Love. Now Nick Love 4 back in the car. The Love Racing cars, a bit notoriously hard to overtake. Very much, in the spirit of just racing out there. A little bit of contact, I think, for Cash. I heard just a tick. But they managed to clear him quickly.
Difficult to overtake, difficult to predict. Just there, in that case.
That's that authentic experience when you're out on the ChampCar track. You never know who you're racing side by side with. And even guys with experience will make silly decisions sometimes. Luckily, it hasn't harmed anyone's race there. Cash gets a little wide on the exit. Briefly touches the dirt, and Gio's all over the rear bumper. Just seems to be able to kind of place the car at will on the racing line in a way that Cash isn't. It's bizarre, but the Mustang almost seems more nimble than the Porsche at this phase, and they're going to go alongside. Gio's going to get a better exit and holds it wide open and drives away from Cash. Be interesting to see if Cash has anything to say about it once he gets back into the braking zone. He does. He's going to dive it up the inside. And you'd think Gio with the lower downforce or lower drag sort of setup would have more of a deficit in the corners, but he really doesn't seem to have it. You got to think exiting door to door on the exit of 3 here, that under the bridge Gio's going to have a little bit more speed even with the side draft going to Cash. Cash is trying to hold him down on the inside there, and we'll see. Cash dives it out wide. Gio jukes right a little bit as a result, and Cash tries the over-under that served him so well this race, but Gio sees it coming and blocks it back to the inside, parks it on the apex, and that looks like a pass done. Anything else?
They're lucky so much of this racetrack is dry now, because some of those lines would have been perhaps fatal an hour ago.
Behind them, Kyle Shucks had a front row seat to the hottest bit of battle in this side of the speedway in the last little bit.
Yeah, and having been off the road, Backflip Boys have rejoined behind Drivetrainer Motorsports Emerald. That's a battle that's happening right here. Soon to go a lap down to your outright leader, who you can see just behind SimCity Racing Porsche.
The Backflip Boys, victims of some poor driver swaps and a little bit of strategy. But they've certainly not suffered for pace much this race. So we'll see if they're able to get a move done on that BMW up the road.
They are suffering for a bit of straight line speed, though.
I was actually just noticing that. Maybe a setup a bit more for the wet than for the dry. SimCity Racing's Marc-Andre is about to try and find his way past this pair of cars too. So the battle for 7th, 8th place might get a little bit tricky here. As Bueller declares he would like the outside going into turn 5. And Mark's going to get both of them done in one. Dives it in a little bit extra deep. Takes a chunk out of the sand and clears it out.
Romano's going to run an interesting line between turns 3 and 5, trying to still fend off Young Guns and Cash Savage.
Cash says, I might do it, as he peeks up the inside. Doesn't from that far back, thankfully.
Got the Drivetrainer Motorsports carbon car just behind, presumably only 1 or 2 laps away from needing a pit stop. Well, we think our top 3 are going to go all the way to the end. Savage a tiny bit wide, bottom of the hill on the gravel, loses a couple of car lengths and the ability to fight and pressure Giovanni Romano for much more.
Yeah, what are we thinking for carbon here? They're going to have to take a stop for fuel. I assume you just splash a dash at this point. 40-second stationary, 30-second lane time.
Well, it's going to be about half that stationary, so I'm leaning towards about a 50-second total transit time.
Coming out somewhere between 5th and 6th place. You'd think.
Probably behind Skywalker Racing, but still ahead of Drivetrainer Motorsports Emerald and Backflip Boys. So probably...
I think it'll be close to...
6th.
Yeah, it'll be close to Skywalker Racing. I'm not convinced that 6th place is completely safe. Either way, Kyle Shuck's going to hit the lane. All the way, you can drive it all the way up to the top of that hill before you got to hit the speed limiter. But it's a hard one to judge in that braking zone. Meanwhile, out on track, Bueller and
even in a
Gilbert.
slipstream, that Backflip Boys Porsche just has no straight line speed. It is, by speed trap, the slowest car on track, and considerably slower than some of the other Porsches like SimCity and Young Guns, and chasing the Delta Academy Sargento BMW Motorsport.
I wonder if they read the event notes. Or if they set it up for a little bit more of a wet race than we ended up getting.
There were points in time when that car was really good in the wet.
Yeah. But on a circuit like Road America, you really got to respect the power of just being able to go real fast in a straight line. These big wide open stretches will do that.
So with 7 laps to go, 24:30 esports could be a bit here or there, but I think everyone else will make it to the end without an extra stop. 24:30 probably will make it, but it might be a tiny bit close for them.
It's spread out on the track. 30 seconds from first to third. 35 thereabouts. Second and third a little close together. But it looks like Gio certainly got the pace advantage right now. 2:22.1 that time by.
What he doesn't have is the 3.5 seconds per lap that he needs to catch SimCity Racing.
Yeah, he needs a different kind of fuel tank, I think. Some of that nitrous maybe, so get him there.
So, Kyle Shook did come out just ahead of Skywalker Racing. It was an even quicker stop than I was expecting. I was thinking 20 seconds of fuel, which would have had them behind Skywalker Racing, but they only took 16. That would not have been enough time to get 4 new tyres.
We have seen quicker laps from Collins than Shook, but I don't know if enough quicker to really kind of guarantee that it'd be an easy overtake. Certainly be a bit of a battle here with 14 to go on the clock. Kind of like the look of this funky paint job here on the BMW, the Skywalker racing car. Is that based on a real art car or just a fun design? Need you to know these things, David Haynes. Doesn't look like one that I know.
On a cherry ripe chocolate. Chocolate cherry slice or something.
Chica cherry cola.
Something.
And there's 2 drivetrainer cars on track, and both of them are in a battle. We got these 2 going at it, and then in 7th, 8th place, we've got the likes of LaShawn Dilworth put up a valiant defense, it must be said, of Alex Buehler at this point. Buehler has run faster than this, but that car just hasn't seemed to find its way around LaShawn Dilworth in this phase of the race. We saw that Backflip Boys car as fast as a 23.5 behind, with Buehler behind the wheel, but the consistency's kind of gone out of it in the last few laps. And that straight line deficit that you mentioned, Haynes, really does seem to be playing a role. Buehler can get to the rear bumper, get a good draft, but just can't pop out and make the overtake.
He doesn't need to save a bit of fuel, does he? I don't think he's really quite been driving like that.
I think he needs to. He had a full service at the last stop.
Well,
it was a long stop with the...
Because of the penalty, and I thought it was going to be even longer than that. I thought it should have been...
Maybe there's some games going on. It could,
maybe that is about right.
I could believe that. Kyle Shuck under some more significant pressure in the carbon DTM car. He's got Collins pushing up right behind him. And making that Mustang real wide. Aided a bit by the fact that the BMW trying to pass him is also pretty wide itself. At the relatively narrow Road America track we're at here today.
Has BMW got a key fob too? Does not look like it.
You never know, maybe it's hidden out of sight, you know?
It's got a lot of screens, some nice Motec ones going on there. Double up for the dash and the rear-facing camera.
I think the frame rates on these rear view cameras... Oh, a little contact on the exit there. Just say the frame rates on these rear view cameras are a little higher in the sim than they are in real life. I don't know about that.
You pay enough money, they're pretty good, I reckon. And the bits in a modern GT4 car are pretty pricey.
So you're saying we won't get them in the ChampCar series? Come on, Haynes.
I'm saying we will, and then we'll begrudge those that have forked out $15,000 for Motec dashes.
I think we do that already, Haynes.
That's what I'm saying.
10 minutes to go, and Jared Collins has a run this time up the hill. A little bit of draft helping him too. He's going to try and make this move work to the inside, but no room there, says Kyle. And he'll have to go to the outside. But we've seen the outside work for a few drivers into turn number 1. What's it going to be, Haynes?
I'm going to back in Collins and Skywalker here.
It does make it work. Repeats the pattern. It seems like all day long it's been the guy who has the outside line that makes it work into 1. We'll have to send that note back to the battle for 7th place with Bueller still in the wheel tracks, trying to find his way past Lashanya and Dilworth. These two are going to fight for a little bit longer by the looks of things. About 4 laps to go next time by. And it's been green flag wire to wire here at Road America. None of that stage racing around here. And these guys are where they're at on merit. And certainly SimCity Racing in the 71 has gotten to where he's at on merit. And you know what, Haynes? I'm happy to say that 2 Canadians have gotten where they're at on merit, because we've got a 1-2 for Team Canada. We won't speak of the other guys that were in those cars earlier.
Well, Ron Wolf doesn't have a nationality on iRacing, if you look.
Yeah. Yeah, Republic of iRacing citizen, as far as you can tell.
Put that on your census form. Romano has found himself a slowdown. Has he extended that too much on the way into turn 5 once again?
Might very well have. Don't think that'll cost him anything. He's got 10 seconds back to the guys behind, and he's doing some big lifts to try and give it back.
Yeah, he's
have
cleared it
seen
now, but
this
it's
despite.
Yeah, it just cost him a little chunk of time. The pace last lap dropped big time for Young Guns. They were one of the first to stop. And now...
I think they should be okay on fuel, assuming they gave it all, but this might just be them locking it in. A little bit of 20 seconds clear to the people behind.
Well, the outright race leader is just crossing the start-finish line now with 6 minutes to go, doing lap times in the 2:20s. So it's definitely 3 more laps to go, which would be 19 for Young Guns, who looked like they took a full tank of fuel at the last stop. So it should be achievable, but if they've failed to manage it until about this point and then realised the desperation of the situation, it could be harmful.
That would be significant. I'm not sure we're seeing quite that level of pace drop-off.
Well, 2:25 last lap. Let's see what it is for Young Guns this lap. High 2:24. They went from battling with Romano to now more than 10 seconds behind.
Maybe just a little insurance. I'll have to see. Bueller looking a little lethargic, a little erratic at this point. Struggling behind LaShawn. Just over the curbs and not quite seeming to have what he's had in the past. Yeah, it's almost like the car is not handling right.
There is one loose element of the vehicle. It is one that they can change, yeah, at a pit stop though. There's self-extricating elements.
Marc-Andre used all of the exit of turn, is that 13 there? Yeah, 13 coming up the hill towards the final corner and jumped it. But no harm, no foul. Still seems to be fast. 2:22.000 last time by for him. And even Gio's starting to back things down a little bit at 2:23.2 last time by.
Well, he had that slowdown last lap, so I suspect he'll get back to the 22s this lap. 2:24s from the cars that we're watching here. No white flag for them yet. Bueller just taking care of some of the landscaping at the National Park of Speed, helping with the mowing.
It's good to volunteer in your community.
So Romano found his pace again in that sort of low 22s, matching the race leader. The Young Guns remain in the mid 225s, 3 laps in a row, where they've dropped their pace 2 or more seconds per lap. They have, with 2 laps to go, about 15 seconds to chasing the Delta. So Lincoln Fox will keep the hammer down. And if there is a cough or a splutter or anything on fuel for the Young Guns, that could end up being tight. And the other cars that are particularly close on track is the seemingly inseparable Drive Trainer Motorsport Emeralds and Backflip Boys. On board with the race leaders. Now they're probably going to see the white flag, and that's what we're looking for on the front straight here. Clock is underneath 2 minutes, and out of the final corner, flagman's on a nice stand to the left-hand side up the top of the hill here. Beautiful views, and he has got a white flag in his hand. 4 more miles of Road America for SimCity Racing to look to go back to back to back, pick up another $200 of ChampCar Endurance Series credit, and solidify their position as perfect top seed headed into the finale in 2 weeks' time as well.
And that's critical, you know, barring a calamity at the next race, it would be really tough for them to not find themselves on the top step of the podium. And you know, 4 races in the championship, that's $1,000 towards the Real World Series, courtesy of ChampCar. So it would be a big deal for these guys and a big shot in the arm to their hopes of going in and taking their virtual racing onto the real track. Carrying on, watching this battle. I think it might stay in the order that it runs currently.
Yeah, I mean, my thing to watch is Young Guns on this final lap as well. They've just done a 2:26, lost 3 seconds compared to chasing the Delta, who are about 12 seconds behind. So the only way that this costs Young Guns a spot on the podium is if they really truly do run out of fuel, because there's still just enough to pace this one home.
They are short shifting it. Like, it's I'm seeing green lights and then the shift happening. So I think they're probably tighter than they want to be, but if it is a low on fuel situation, this is a very bad track to run out of fuel, because getting up the hill to the line is really tough.
It's the opposite of Mount Panorama Bathurst, where you can run out of fuel halfway on the final lap and coast it down. 2430 Esports are in the lane for a splash on the final lap. Not that it'll matter though, because they won't be able to exit the pit lane. The race is over now as SimCity Racing take back-to-back race wins in the ChampCar iRacing Series Team Endurance. Marc-Andre Garon joins the lineup alongside Chris Beats and Ryan Puchtel as an unbeaten grouping. Tim Hujas are going to match their best of a second place last time out and end up on a score of 4 as Giovanni Romano drives to second place. Young Guns nearly wrecked 2 corners ago.
Oh,
Coming up the hill. Ay.
get it across the line.
It's not this replay. They come into the checkered flag now and they'll just hold on.
The Lincoln Fox in the Delta Academy car is rolling up the hill for a 4th place finish. Unfortunate circumstances after their pit stop, and I think they'll be wishing for what could have been in that car. A couple other lapped cars coming to the line. Logan Stenhauser in the Save the Stang, Bill Woods in the Balthazar Motorworks car is kicking up some dirt up ahead of Jared Collins in the Skywalker Racing cars. He'll come across the line for a well-earned 5th place finish.
2430's pit stall is past where the start-finish line is, so they did exit the pit lane to get back out and complete a lap. Here comes Drivetrainer Motorsports Carbon. 4 pit stops in the race for them, Kyle Robertson and Kyle Shook.
Across the line in 6th. And the last man on track.
I think they were already a lap down, Drivetrainer Motorsports, Emerald and Backflip Boys. So 2430 Esports have exited the pit lane after the race winner has crossed the checkered flag, but because of where they were on their lap, they'll be one of the last cars to come around. Andy Kosick is going to complete 47 laps by the looks of things. Let's see how iRacing decides to score this lowered expectations car.
Really living up to the name there. But it's gone well. Worked to plan. I think he got to have some fun racing today and got a little improvement on that VIR finish that they were looking to improve.
Race Control are big fans of Busch because they have let the days go by and to complete a final lap. Does actually score 2430 Esports that lap ahead of Balthazar Motorworks then, so that could have been important right at the end there. This is how they've taken the end of the race. SimCity Racing, that's 3 wins from 3 Enduros. Late arrival to the championship, Hujas take 2 second places in a row. Young Guns finish on the podium in 3rd, managing their fuel, it seemed, in the final laps. although they're doing burnouts now, so that doesn't compute for me. Chasing the Delta Academy, Sargento BMW Motorsports finish 4th. Skywalker Racing in their debut finish 5th. Drivetrainer Motorsports Carbon in 6th, ahead of Drivetrainer Motorsport Emerald in 7th. Backflip Boys in 8th. Project Save the Stang, powered by Sennhauser Racing Team 9th. 2430 get that 10th place. And everyone's a classified finisher by the looks of things. Balthazar Motorworks in 11th, Love Racing in 12th, and Slowed Expectations in 13th.
One of those good days of racing where no green flag was interrupted by a caution. Everyone kept it clean all the way through, and we had good quality racing from front to back. And we'll see if any of our teams are available for an interview, as they're filtering off the track now. But
there's a few there if you want to go in search of one, Devon.
Oh yeah, it looks like we've got Keegan and Cash coming in off the racetrack after a quality day and a quality finish for the Young Guns.
Hello.
How are you two doing?
Good.
Well, I mean, pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
It was a good race. After VIR, we kind of found out we would have to fight to get a win or a podium. So we decided to come into this one prepared.
Yeah, it looked like you guys were very prepared, very racy, certainly through the first part of the race. And you guys were handling the wet and the challenging sort of early phase pretty well.
Yeah, I loved my first stint. I think when it was just starting to dry out, but it was still wet tires, I think that's where I was really shining. I loved that battle that I had with the Backflip Boys, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely amazing. Loved it.
Yeah, you guys were putting on a show.
Yeah, I'm just glad I didn't ruin our race like last time.
Hey,
Still have PTSD from that one.
Once in a while. And Cash, in the second stint, second half of the race there, you had a little bit of a battle with Gio, and you two were fighting pretty hard there for the second step on the podium.
Yeah, I was thinking he was coming up on me and he was so fast. As soon as I got by that driver trainer car, I decided I'll try and keep him behind me as long as I can. See if I can hold on to him by the end. Although I had to fuel save a bit to have some fuel for donuts.
we were wondering about that. We saw we saw the pace backing off a little bit at the end, and we were wondering if it was fuel for getting across the line, because it's a hard track to run out of fuel at if you finish in the second half of the lap there uphill.
Yeah, we were a little too conservative actually on the fuel saving, but we figured we would leave some extra fuel for donuts at the end, so we did that.
Well,
Yeah, it's all about the fun.
Yeah, exactly, guys. Good job, and a good race from the two of you, and we'll be seeing you back for the next round.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I gotta find Keegan a teammate because I can't run it.
You guys got money?
luck,
I
guys.
have to buy that track.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you guys.
Thank you very much. Thanks for putting this on for us.
That's the Young Guns. Haynes, you spotted anyone else?
Well, we'd be hoping to get second place. Ron Wolf is going to join us. Giovanni Romano doesn't love us. Congratulations. Gio had a whole heap of pace, and what, you finally dried out your racing boots?
Yeah, I've been dry for a little bit now.
This is a really quality first stint there. First couple stints while you were racing in the rain.
Yeah, I enjoy the rain. I would have loved for that to go on a little bit longer, because once it started drying out, I started making mistakes here and there. But yeah, I had fun. Love the conditions.
and you two seem to have a pretty good pace all the way through. Were you on the sidelines for that second stint while Gio was kind of chasing his way through the field?
Yeah, I was just kind of talking him through, like, there were a few cars that were ahead of us for position, but we were on different strategies. So I don't know, for a little bit it looked like we might be able to chase down P1, but I think the gap was a little bit too big, and once we started hitting traffic, it became insurmountable. Besides the fact that Marc-Andre was flying. he might not have hit.
Do that.
I was saying he didn't hit 21 or two 21s, but he also didn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like we found Gio too. Gio, you were pushing pretty hard there at the end.
Yes, definitely. Because honestly, I was just trying to set the fastest lap possible. I think getting to the lead wasn't doable at the end, but yeah, the car drives is just excellent here. At least in the drive, it was awesome, super fun, and had a good little battle with Cash there for second, and that was fun. So yeah, it was a good race.
Looked like you were feeling pretty comfortable in the Mustang. You're not missing the Porsche at all?
I don't even like the Porsche. There's Porsche Canada that made me do that. That's their fault. Like the Porsche is like my least favorite out of the bunch. Like, I'm not going to get too much into it. No, I definitely like the front engine cars. Well, actually, that's not. I like the other cars. I don't like the Porsche. I like the McLaren. I like the BMW. Drove that a lot, especially the old BMW. The Mustang's the best though, because it's front engine like the BMW. Yeah, it's got the noise. The noise is important. Good noise.
Yeah, it's got that V8. Well, the two of you guys have put yourself into a good position going into the final round here. I think probably best position to challenge the SimCity Racing guys. 2 second place finishes on your resume compared to their 2 first place finishes. Do you think it looks like you got something for him on 1 lap pace. Do you think you got something for him in that final round?
Yeah, if I can get close to them, that's the issue. I think the rain in the last couple races was really the differentiator. We came out wrong side of it. The first race was at the beginning, and then at the end it was a bit better. But this race it was the rain. The car's actually really good when it's really wet, but it seems with all of us, once it gets to that middle range where you get close to the crossover, the car kind of doesn't stop anymore, and we just keep blowing the braking zone. It's like you're just using the same braking zone, and the track is drying, but the car just loses its front bite and just doesn't stop. So I don't know if it's something we tried tinkering with the ABS to see if it would help, and it really didn't seem to help much. So might be either a thing with the car or something we got to adjust more with the maybe the brake bias or something to get it in line, because it's every time we get to that changeover we lose a ton of time. It's like pure dry or pure wet is good, middle is bad. So anyway, the roundabout way, I think on raw pace we can keep up. I think I was pulling up on them here, although in their defense, they had no reason to push when you have such a big lead. The smart thing is to just chill. So I think it would be different if we were actually lined up right behind them, but I guess we would have to see.
Well, quality race from you two guys today. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you at the next round.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
I'll try to be there. Bye.
We can get to our race winners back to back to back. Ryan Puchtel from SimCity Racing joins us. I choose to imagine that after driving the first half of the race, you're currently sitting in a reclining chair with your feet up and a warm hot chocolate.
That sounds pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, to win 3 races in a row is, it's pretty nice. So yeah, we've looking like our results are pretty good, and we're looking forward to this last race of the series here.
What kind of compromise did you have to make, seeing like how wet the race was at the start, but knowing that like Noah, drier times were coming.
Yeah, I think we had more of a dry setup. We weren't really running a whole lot of wing, so we're really wanting that rain to go away as fast as possible. Yeah, the opening half stint there was pretty tricky in the wet. I didn't expect it to be quite that wet, so it was kind of more of a survival.
And there were points in time where it seemed like the Ford Mustang was a good car. You've been, of course, steady with the Cayman. How does it sort of transition wet to dry? How's it going to go at bumpy Sebring? And obviously, the full schedule and everything was known when you made your car choice, and so it seems to be working.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I haven't driven a whole lot of the other GT4 cars that often. I'm most familiar with the Porsche. Same with a lot of other people on our team are most familiar with the Porsche GT4, so I think we just wanted to stick with that. Yeah, I mean, Sebring is going to definitely be interesting for sure. It's my favorite race track to go to, so looking forward to it.
And continuity-wise, you had to get a new co-driver for this race. Seems to have really delivered for you. No worries at all with Marc-Andre Garon.
Yeah, he did a really great job driving. He was putting down some really good laps. Was pretty consistent. Yeah, I'm just fortunate, you got a team of a lot of quick drivers. So it's nice that when someone's not available, someone else can fill in and is pretty dependable.
Who gets the call up for the final round then? Is it just availability is the best ability?
I believe Chris will be back.
Well, we look forward to that. Congratulations once again, and see you 2 weeks' time at the Sebring finale.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Race-winning Ryan Puchtel joining us there post our whole podium. I've been tallying up the points, and it doesn't take much mental arithmetic for SimCity Racing to work out that a win, and a win means that their best two results are 2 wins. But UJAS go to second in the standings, ahead of Zach's Hitman Emporium, who we didn't see today, but had a second and a fourth still to their name. 2430 Esports are in fourth in the standings, and Drive Trainer Motorsports Carbon and Emerald are both tied in fifth on 10, along with chasing the Delta Academy Sargento BMW Motorsport. So it's going to be very interesting come that final round, Devin.
Yeah, I think a lot to play for. Big prizes on the line, and of course a lot of pride on the line for our drivers out there. And they just keep putting on such good shows for us. And keep on having such good turnouts. It's really been a pleasure to see the evolution of the series and the competition that we're seeing out here. It's the most accessible way to get into the most accessible series on Earth, and the ChampCar series, of course. So we are so grateful for them to let us put this on and to give us the chance to showcase these quality drivers and to watch them as they take either their first steps or their winter leg skills out onto the virtual racetrack. It's been a quality year.
13 teams are in the hunt when we go to Sebring in 2 weeks' time for the ChampCar iRacing 3 hours of Sebring. It'll be live on HJBC and on ChampCar Live. Forum.champcar.org has also got all of the information about the ChampCar iRacing series. What a year we've had, and there is one race left to run. The top 3 teams, SimCity Racing, UJAS, and Zach's Hitman Emporium. But can someone come from the far gate to take the outright championship? All to be seen in 2 weeks' time. We'll see you then. I'm David Haynes, Devin Peters, Michael Derby. We're HJBC. Thank you so much to all of our teams and everyone who's been joining us and watching along. See you at Sebring.